Wimbledon 2024 on ABC Sport. Hear it live every night on the ABC Listen app. Just search for the tennis button. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio,
ABC Sport Digital, and take us with you on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Two teams coming off losses in round 17. They meet in round 18, Saturday twilight fixture under the roof at Docklands, the Western Bulldogs and Carlton. And gee, there's a fair bit on the line in this one. For the Bulldogs, if they lose today, they could potentially be 2 games outside the 8 with 6 to play. While for the Blues, if they lose, they'll be only a game inside the 8, despite all the advantages that they enjoyed a couple of weeks ago. Corbin Middlemass alongside Ben Cameron to call the footy. Jess Webster's on the boundary, and our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball. It's all in front of us here at Docklands. Both teams conducting their preliminary warm-up. The news here is that there is no late change, and that is significant as well, given the fact that Luke Beveridge hinted yesterday that he expects Carlton to make a late change, given the small forwards and their emergencies. That didn't happen, and so as a result, you've got a big Blues forward line up against a small Bulldogs defence. Alex Keith is the emergency. There's no Liam Jones, and of course, there's no James O'Donnell in this lineup for the Bulldogs today. Of course, the big talking point is that Patrick Cripps is celebrating a milestone. It is game 200 for the Carlton captain this afternoon, and appropriately comes up against Marcus Bontempelli and his Bulldogs. So the two superstars of the competition, who have been so often compared to one another, will find themselves pitted against each other in Cripps' 200th. As I mentioned, Ben Cameron's here to call the footy. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Corbin. Great to be here. I've actually got some breaking news. 3 minutes ago, the Bulldogs have swung a late change.
Oh, wow.
So Adam Treloar is out with a calf issue, and Harvey Gallagher has come in. So literally, as you were doing your opening spiel, the Bulldogs have swung a late change. So this is extremely late, and Garcia will play instead of Adam Treloar.
So Garcia playing, and as the sub?
As the sub. Yeah, as the sub.
As the sub. So there we go. That doesn't change the mix at least. So still no Alex Keith, and as a result, a big forward line to contend with for the Blues. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball are here. G'day, Rama.
Yeah, it's g'day. It's all happening here. There's.
Did you notice that in the morning?
Well, no, Bully and I, as you said it, we looked up on the screen and there was the late change. So Riley Garcia comes into this team. Adam Treloar huge out against a powerful Carlton midfield. So the Bulldogs will certainly feel that it puts a lot more pressure on Bontempelli and Libba and the like. Riley Sanders, the youngster there. So
you don't often hear a coach come out and say, "Hey, we expect the opposition will make a late change." And so everyone was looking at the Bulldogs thinking, gee, you're a bit small down back with no Jones and no O'Donnell, and you've left Keith out. And he came out and basically said, I reckon one of their bigs will miss and one of the small forwards will come in. And in the end, neither of them have blinked, and they've fronted up with the same team. So big Carlton forward line, little Dogs defence.
Yeah, and Bully and I were just talking about that a little bit off air. Just the size of the Bulldogs really worries me. So Rory Lobb hasn't played many games as a defender. Karmas is probably the other one that I would imagine would play as a key defender. Nick Caulfield comes back. They might play him a little bit taller, but yeah, they are small. So that's where the pressure up the field from the Bulldogs becomes critical.
Just on Patrick Cripps, so plays his 200th game today, Bally. I read Sam Landsberger's article during the week where he said he's completed 92% of the last 6 pre-seasons. So he shows in a way that there's no secret to any of this. He's put the work in, Patrick Cripps, playing the best footy of his career. And it doesn't feel like it was all that long ago when people were saying, gee, he's banged up. I'm not sure how much of his best footy's in front of him. And according to Champion Data, he's leading their Brownlow tracker to this stage of the year.
Yeah, it almost sounds funny to say, doesn't it? But career best year. He's been magnificent, both with his output from a footy point of view, but clearly his leadership. And you give him the credit. I mean, through those years where they struggled a bit, those, almost sort of transition years from 14, 15, he did carry a lot of that load on his shoulders, and a lot of the time he was taped up, wasn't he, that sort of represented that. But he's got some great support around him now. He's in a really good team, so now he can just almost release the shackles and play. Yeah, what a super player he's been. Hope he goes head-to-head with Bontempelli today. The two sort of prototype modern midfielders, 6'4", 6'5". Brilliantly strong and goal kicking this year. That's the other thing that Paddy Cripps brought to the table. So,
and you look at this early now, Bally. So Caulfield's going to have to play on Tom De Koning.
Yeah.
So you've got Rory Lobb on Harry Mackay, Karmas on Charlie Curnow.
Yeah, smarting Charlie Curnow after a pretty disappointing game last week. You feel like he'd be licking his chops today.
Underway, Patrick Cripps does start in the middle in game 200 alongside Bontempelli. Neither ruck decisive in the opening bounce. The Blues and the Dogs. Saturday twilight footy beneath the roof. Pitnet and English, both hands on it. Bontempelli out after it. Sockers it inside, attacking 50 for the Dogs. Ugle-Hagan leaves it behind. The Blues come from all angles. Goes again, Ugle-Hagan. Handball to Bontempelli, driven down in the tackle. And a ball up centre half forward for the Dogs.
There'll be no head-to-head. Alex Shincotta runs straight off the centre square and goes straight to Marcus Bontempelli.
It's an 8-8 week, so Dogs in their Indigenous jumper with the blue shorts. Really reflective of their regular jumper in the red and white hoop, and Carlton all in navy with the white monogram and the white shorts. Free kick here for a hold going McRae's way, and he can put the Dogs inside the attacking arc first. Crowded forward 50, Dogs to the locket end in the opening quarter, lays it up to the hot spot. Jamari Ugle-Hagan competes. Marchbank claims the mark, not paid. Picked off by Vandermeer, hand pass to Ugle-Hagan, shoots goalward. It's offline, and in the end it's through for a behind. It's the opening scorer behind to Jamari Ugle-Hagan. Jess Webster's with us on the boundary. Hello, Jess.
Afternoon, Corby. Great to be here. A massive crowd here at Docklands at the moment. They are packed to the rafters, and just further to that late change by Treloar. He felt calf tightness this morning and didn't make it through the warm-up today, so it was a very, very late change.
Blues move it up towards the wing. Thanks, Jess. As De Koning picks it up, gets a handball away towards Elijah Hollins to Walsh. Now to Cribs, game 200. He goes back towards Kemp, who will kick out towards Pitternet. Off hands, it's out of play and a throw to come on the wing. Between wing and half forward for the Blues.
So Norton, O'Donnell, Jones, Smith, who's missed all year, Johannesson and now Treloar. You're probably looking at 6-7 guys at their best 22 not there.
Yep.
Umpire flings it in. English and Pitternet. Pitternet double palms it down in front. Chincotta's there, dumps it on the boot, snaps inside 50. Mackay drops the mark. Coming through. Able to get involved, the Blues quickly, and a tackle applied by Duray. And a ball up just inside the attacking 50 for the Blues.
Not sure we sorted anything out of the mid-table earlier. Hawthorn winners over Fremantle, so a victory there by 13 points. Hawks kicking the last 3 goals of the game, so they're just percentage outside the 8. And a restart ball, hand pass by Liberatore, and then Elijah Holland sees it out.
You have to be at the absolute best today, this Bulldogs midfield, aren't they? We know there's a couple of troops down already, but Jack McRae, so he needs to go in and pick up the slack. Ed Richards having a career best year. He has to play a blinder. If they have to at least break even, if nothing else, put pressure on Carlton's forward entries. They'll bet their defence.
English, the All-Australian ruck, palms it down. Walsh, though, scoops up the footy for the Blues in front of the interchange gates. To Akers, to Newman, hand pass dangerous back inboard. Waitman knocks it to the Dogs' advantage, collected by Williams. He gives it by hand to English, and now to McRae, heads down to half forward for the Bulldogs.
Oh, Ugle-Hagan crashes the pack, but Akers there to row for the Blues across half back. He'll kick into the middle of the ground for Fogarty. Right there with him, punching it away, Duray. Bouncing ball centre half forward for the Dogs. McNeil goes in, and it's held in. Ball up on the attacking edge of the square, centre half forward for the Dogs.
Just repeating in Sydney, the Swans by 79 points over North Melbourne. So the two winners, Hawthorn by 13 over the Dockers, Sydney by 79 over the Roos.
Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. It's not coming out. We'll do it again.
We'll see Bontempelli take Chincotta deep forward at times today, Rammer. We'll test him out there.
Bulldogs by a point. English slaps it down straight into Liberatore, and coming through Gallagher. He's wrapped up. He was expecting to be the sub, but Adam Treloar that laid out. So Gallagher starts, and Riley Garcia, the late inclusion, is the sub for the Dogs.
Dogs an early behind. That's the only score. English wins the hit out. Richards paddles to his own advantage, collects, hand pass to McNeil, kicks across the ground, and here's Duray. Plays on immediately. Mackay's got him. Had the blinkers on, didn't hear him coming, didn't see him, and Mackay runs him down to win the footy for the Blues. Defensive act early from Harry Mackay.
Underrated part of his game, though, for a 202 centimetre player. His forward pressures, him and Curnow at their best, elite.
Goes wide to Cowan, and Cowan back inside the defensive arc to Wiedering at fullback. Hand pass to Saad. Takes a bounce immediately as he darts away. Kicks to that city wing and links up with Kemp. And the pink boot still on the defensive side of halfway. Hand pass forward to Ollie Hollins. Just runs around Bramble. Kicks down to half forward to Coney to target. And Karmas breaks it up. Knocks it out of bounds for the Bulldogs. A boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the Blues. Carlton yet to score. The Dogs one behind, 5 minutes in. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
A lot of times when Sard bounces the ball, it's more for balance rather than to get a bounce stat.
English hooking it down, and Gallagher again. He's had no room when he's got the footy today.
Did you find that useful as a player?
A little bit. He sure was all the time. He would say that. It was more for his balance.
I don't know why you're asking me, Cool.
Bailey Dale cutting through them for the Dogs. Gives off the handball to Waitman. On the logo, kicks inside 50. Darcy juggles it. And he takes the mark. 45 out. Cruises onto the left. Dangerous kick. Nearly a big collision. Akers comes in. Knocks it away. Sard gathers. Back pocket. Clears for the Blues. Out towards halfback. Mark taken by Newman.
You love the team aspect from Sam Darcy, but sometimes just go back early in the game. Now your legs are feeling strong. You can kick the distance.
Newman long down the wing to Coney in front of English. Can't complete the juggled mark. English picks his pocket. Hand pass to Dale for the Bulldogs. Handball to Darcy. Sweeps a hand pass down to Libber at half forward. Shakes 2 tackles. Hand pass inside to McNeil. Feeds an extra one through to Gallagher. He shakes a tackle of his own to finish on the run. The finish lets him down. Misses to the far side. The Bulldogs, they look on early. 2 behinds. Carlton yet to score. 6 minutes played.
Good call. They're sharp, aren't they? Good clean hands. English to Cody. And Pitnet's going to be a terrific battle, isn't it? In the ruck there. English, again, has to be at his best today. But nice pressure to get the turnover there from the Dogs. And then good clean hands to set up that shot of goal. Really should have kicked that.
Sard runs 12 metres. And Waitman goes upstairs. Jumping Cody Waitman getting airborne.
That was a nice one.
That good.
He sends it back inside attacking 50, and how about a mark? Down there is Wiedering in the back pocket for the Blues. He kicks towards the defensive goal square, and Kemp's there. The Blues on their last line. Got aerial Cody Waitman, and we know he does a little bit of artwork. That was a work of art in terms of a high mark.
Just the knee straight on the shoulder of Tom DeConey, 2 metres plus, and superb vertical leap as Akers comes wide with the kick. Wanted to link up with Mackay, and Lobb knocks it out of bounds. So there's Rory Lobb's match-up in defence.
Oh, he's a perfect physical matchup, isn't he, Lobb? Yep. Good as there is, really, apart from the twin brother, of course, with Mackay. But yeah, he's had a good start too. Just good closing speed there to affect the spoil.
Bulldogs by 2 points. He only scores of the game so far. Pitnet palms it down towards McRae, though. He lost it. Comes out to Walsh. Hurried kick down the wing. Mackay the target. Lobb does well to knock it away from him. Dale bursts onto it. Kicks down to half-forward turnover. Touched on the way through as Walsh gives it to Akers. Gets it back and spears a dart along the boundary line. Finds Harry Mackay in front of the benches. Bulldogs by a couple of points.
He wheels and goes. Kicks long up towards half-forward. Fraser reaching up. Can't take the mark. There's a whistle on the play. Free kick. It'll go the way of the Dogs. Left half back. They lead it by a couple of points. 8 minutes played in this opening term. Kicks around the dockside wing in the Bailey Dale direction. Mackay comes across, marks for the Blues. Just in front of the benches on this broadcast side of the ground.
Late change after teams drop. So Treloar out with a calf. Gallagher playing. Garcia the sub for the Bulldogs. The sub for Carlton. No late change there. Kennedy is the technical sub for the Blues. Bulldogs win it back at halfback. Karmas to Williams. He kicks long down the wing, and Wiedering's there to take the intercept mark for the Blues. 8.5 minutes into the opening term. Goes all the way back to Kemp, trying to switch play to Marchbank. And for just his 3rd start of the year, Caleb Marchbank. Long kick to Elijah Hollands. Too much on it. Might work out anyway. Slides through, but Bontempelli on the end of it for the Bulldogs. Hand pass and turnover to Fraser. His handball picked off too. Chera to Cottrell to Cow, and he kicks wide, and Ollie Hollands takes the mark on that City wing. Bulldogs 2 behinds. Carlton yet to score. 9 minutes played. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Goes back to Kemp. It goes short to Cowan. Defensive point of the square for the Blues. Wants to switch it. His kick for Newman, a good one. He marks. Now pokes it into the middle of the ground. Mark taken there by Chera. And his hamstring issues this year, but back in the side. Alongside the bullseye. Drives it long inside 50. Mackay at the front of the pack. Doesn't mark. Comes down for Bailey Dale. Gives it to English. High sky ball towards the half-back flank to clear for the Dogs. It hits the deck.
Scrap on for the footy. Front edge of the centre square for the Blues. Pack forms. Up says I'll have it.
Temptation will be to bomb today, won't it? Carlton, they look up. There's tall forwards everywhere and resting ruckman. Just got to be careful and mindful of the fact that they can all fly for the same ball, and that'll play into the Dogs' hands.
Pitternet back in the team today, partnering with De Koning. Gets the hit out here in front of Cripps in his milestone game. The Hollands boys receive a hand pass, Elijah to Ollie, and then he goes back by hand. The hand pass comes to Marchbank, goes long inside 50, and in the end it's Karmas. Takes a nice intercept mark at fullback. Dangerous kick. Trying to link up with Williams. Akers breaks it up. Ball hits the deck. Back pocket Bramble. Handball back to Williams. Met solidly in the tackle from Owies, holding the ball. Gee, as soon as he received it, tried to fight off Matt Owies. Owies sticks the tackle and the ump says, holding the ball.
That's stiff.
So is that what we saw again last night, where they're saying, look, you got one arm free, so what do they want him to do? Drop it.
Well, they think he can kick the ball.
Yeah. So that's a clear change, isn't it? I mean, and that's obviously that's umpire Lee Fisher too, who I know they're all the same, but he played the game, so he understands. You know, the challenge there for the ball carrier, having no prior opportunity. So that's a clear change in interpretation to ping that player.
11th minute of the game, and the goalless game is no more. As Matt Owies runs the boundary line and pumps up the Carlton faithful. He kicks the game's first goal at the 11-minute mark. Carlton, 1 straight 6, Bulldogs 2 behind. Blues by 4 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Jess Webster's on the boundary. Jess.
Yeah, just watching Sam Walsh on the Blues bench for the last couple of minutes. He was in deep conversation with the doctors, had his right boot off, and then they were just bending his boot a little bit. So I think he might be wearing new boots, and they were just a little bit uncomfortable, and they were trying to make that work for him. But the good news is he's back out on the field, and he'll contest this in a bounce.
So my issue with that, if the game wants a player who has an arm free and he's being tackled and has the ball, one arm ping, the ball in the other hand, to then try and dispose of the ball with a kick, that's when you end up with situations like Alir when he's getting tackled by Jack Higgins, where they're like a flamingo on one leg, get slung to ground and hit their head.
Yep. Yeah, spot on.
Seems strange to me as Pitternet wins the tap back in the middle. There is Walsh in those new boots, getting a handball away straight to Chera. He has nowhere to go, holding the ball.
Okay, well, they're consistent at least. Seems today, prior opportunity.
There is none.
Yep. The Bond takes the free, drives it long. Jamari Eaglehagen on a climb. Can't come down with the footy. Spills into the pocket. Poulter wrapped up by Ollie Hollands. Close to the boundary line, and in the end, the pair out of play with the Sharon. And the boundary throw in here, forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Just repeating the earlier games, Hawthorn by 13 points, kicked the last 3 to come from behind and beat the Dockers. And it was Sydney by 79 points over the Roos.
Up it goes in the pocket. There's a holding free kick against Pitternet. And it's going to go to Darcy in the left forward pocket here for the Doggies.
Yeah, what do you think, Rabbi? It's a bonus. That's what it is. They're
both tangled.
Recognised ruckman. I think maybe as Darcy went to put his arm up to contest, he was great. Yeah, Pitternet retarded it, but yeah, it's a bonus if this goes through.
40 out on the snap. It's a little narrow all of the way. Never got it out in front of the goal face to curl it back through. So 3 behinds to start for the Dogs. Carlton 1 straight 6. We've played 13 minutes.
Blues bringing it in a hurry as Newman receives it. Hand pass away to Boyd. Off the back flank, kicks Carlton down the wing. Mackay trying to pick up the awkward hump volley, left it behind. Richards had it, got it out backdoor to Poulter, and his hand pass knocked out of bounds by Boyd. Boundary throw in half forward for the Dogs. Of course, Jordan Boyd out of the Footscray VFL, which has been a successful breeding ground for AFL players in recent years. Meeting up with a lot of familiar faces today. I saw him in the warm-up, even the support staff and all the stalwarts that are involved at every footy club, of course, that he had a bit to do with before he was drafted.
Chera takes the advantage for the Blues, kicks to Curnow, attacking point of the square, loops a handball out in front of Williams, unselfishly delivers it to Owies. Back leading, he marks at the top of the goal square, directly in front, and will kick his and the Blues second, and the second of this game.
Oh, it's the Adam Chera kick. Just outstanding, just to be able to pull that kick at the last moment back inside to hit Charlie Curnow, who didn't lead out that way. Outstanding kick.
15 out, directly in front. Matt Owies, no worries. And the Blues are 2 straight 12. The Western Bulldogs 3 behinds. 14 minutes into the opening term. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball.
Yeah, a couple of beautiful kicks, wasn't it? It was a cherry kick. I just go back to that stoppage. I think they're a bit stiff there, the Bulldogs. The out-of-zone umpire paid the free kick and everyone stopped. And usually they're not supposed to pay the advantage. So you feel for the Dogs a bit there. Yeah, no, the umpires have missed a trick there. And Buku Karmas, you'll learn from that. Well, there's not a heap he can do. That's just a beautiful kick. He was trying to sort of zone off and read the kick, and the kick from Cherry was magnificent, centimetre perfect, as was the kick from Williams. It's been a revelation, hasn't he, gone forward, hitting the scoreboard himself, and that time the goal assist.
Dogs 3 behinds, Carlton 2 straight. And as a result, it's the Blues who are on top early in this game by 9 points after 15 minutes. Scrap on for the footy at the restart. Comes down to Sanders of the Bulldogs. 1-2 hand pass with Williams. That's Bailey for the Bulldogs. High up and under from Sanders out to half forward. Sherritt the drop. Can't mark. Spills down to West. Shoots a hand pass inboard. Bailey Dale clean. Grabs it. Jams it on the boot. Kicks goalward. Misses near side. So the Dogs have had their looks. They're missing at one end and Carlton efficient at the other. Bulldogs 4 behinds, Carlton 2 straight, 15 minutes into the opening quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, they've got to take these chances, remember, don't you? Started slow last week, obviously, the Dogs. Got to take these chances early, get some scoreboard pressure on the Blues.
Boyd with the kick in, a turnover. Mark taken by Giray. 60 out from the attacking goal for the Dogs. Giray just waits a kick towards the hot spot. Darcy running at it. In front of him, Kemp comes down for Vandermeer. Handball errant straight to Ollie Hollins. He gets a handball away. It's knocked back under him. Bontempelli in there. And we're going to get a ball up. 35 out from the attacking goal here for the Dogs. 4 behinds, as Corbin said to start. The Blues 2 straight 12.
Darcy wins the hit out, spills down to Sanders, hooks a kick across the body, right to the goal square, bounces off the chest of West, trying to mark under pressure. And in the end, it's through for another behind. So the Dogs, 5 of them. Carlton are 2 straight, so 16 and a half minutes in. The Blues by 8, in fact 7 points. And just repeating that late change, Treloar out, calf injury after the team sheets lob. So as a result, Gallagher is playing and the sub is Garcia.
Dogs win it back through Ugle-Hagan, hooking a centering ball towards full forward. Boyd comes in with the fist off his knuckles. Wiedering's there to carry it out, throw in deep right forward pocket here for the Dogs. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Umpire flings it back in. The Koning works to the front, takes it out of the ruck, gets a handball away, straight to Ollie Hollins, off to Walsh. Slick hands to Kemp, his kick smothered. Ricochets inside attacking 50 for the Dogs. Onto it, Ugle-Hagan. He's set upon by a number of Blues. Wiedering, one of those, steals the football, clearing kick. Fraser marks.
The youngest man on the ground, the only 18-year-old out there. As Fraser puts it back inside the forward 50 for the Bulldogs. Jamara, strong overhead, stuck up the mitts and takes it overhead about 30 metres out just right of centre.
Well, he's deserved that, Ugle-Hagan, because he worked extremely hard in this first quarter for no reward. So he's been flying at the ball. Wiedering's a terrific defender, as we know, but the work rate of Ugle-Hagan allowed him to mark that. But you can see Wiedering with hands on knees at the moment, just exhausted.
Haven't kicked too many goals from marks in the last 6 weeks. The Dogs, this would be the fire starter thereafter. The drop punt misses to the right.
Poked at it.
Gee, they've had a number of looks, the Bulldogs. They're switched on, they've started well, and yet their 6 scoring shots are all behinds. So 6 behinds for the Bulldogs. Carlton 2 straight 12, 18 minutes in. Blues by a goal.
Disappointing, isn't it? Because he has to take the game by the scruff today with Norton out. And we've seen him play well when he's the number 1 man too, Ugle-Hagan. So you're right, Ram. Encouraging start. He's just got to reward himself there by kicking that goal.
Blues chip it around towards the half-back flank. Mark taken by Akers. He'll go longer. Up towards the logo. De Koning in from the side. He takes the mark. He's everywhere, as Robbie Williams would say. De Koning's in the air. Goes to Mackay. Plays on. Runs himself into trouble. Is caught by McNeil holding the ball. Feigned to kick. Pulled it back in. And then was caught. So the Dogs get a stop on defence.
He's on the wrong end of that poster earlier, De Koning, as Waitman sat on his shoulder, and now he gets to fly through the air and take one of his own. As McNeil goes short the lob. A ruck forward come defender. Defensive side of the wing. Long drop punt down to half forward. Wiedering at full stretch takes the intercept mark. Just edged Jamara underneath the ball.
Serious aerial prowess today, remember, isn't there? Already we're seeing in this first quarter, both from big key position players, Ruckman and Cody Waitman with the pick of the lot at the moment.
Bit of soreness for Wiedering and for Curnow during the week after that trip to Sydney. They're both out there and playing, so Wiedering goes back to Newman. Newman, some indecision, comes wide, just got it to Boyd. Spills it under a bit of pressure from Jamara, has time to mop it up. 1-2 with Wiedering, still at half-back Carlton. Boyd, spin move, trying to get away from Giray. Does so, hand pass to Chera. Against the boundary line, still at half-back. Kicks to Mackay in a one-on-one. Caught behind lob, ball hits the deck. Mackay got it out. Hand pass to Fogarty for Carlton.
Fogarty goes long in the Curnow direction, in the pocket. Up he goes, one-handed, can't take the mark. Coming through Owies, in the pocket. Snap, it'll bounce on goal. Matt Owies hits the post. Very nearly with the dribbler. He would have kicked the first 3 goals of the game. 2-1-13 the Blues. The Western Bulldogs 6 behinds. 20 minutes into it.
It was a sub last week, Matt Owies. Made a hot start here as Dale brings it in hurriedly to McRae. Hand pass to McNeil. Off the back flank, kicks down to half forward. Chase on for the footy. Kemp will get there in front of Richards. Kemp doesn't take possession. Paddles it back. Inadvertently socket inboard. Newman jumps on top of it. Sanders tackles him. Says ball up. 55 out for the Bulldogs goal. No Treloar, the laid out with a calf injury. The subs now Garcia for the Bulldogs, Kennedy for the Blues. Up it goes, Richards, first disposal at the restart. Hand pass away to Sanders, gives it to Poulter. Kicks inside 50 and Akers camps underneath it, takes the mark. Centre half back for Carlton. Time on opening term, Blues by 7.
And they get the ball in motion out to Wiedering. He kicks to Owies, who is everywhere at the moment. Fires a handball, a little errant up to Akers, who gives it back to Owies. He'll sweep it back to Kemp. He'll go back to Akers, shanks his kick, bouncing ball, attacking it quickly as West there for the Dogs. Now a loose footy, Waitman picks it up, gives it off to McRae, clever little dribbling kick along the ground, but Gallagher can't trap it. Akers comes and steals it for the Blues, kicks up to the logo.
Oh, Elijah Hollands, he was the only Carlton player there amongst 4 Dogs, takes a sprawling mark out to his right and can settle it down for the Blues on the wing. What a year he's had. Elijah Hollands, first year in navy blue, goes short to Cripps. And cue the applause for Paddy Cripps. It's his 5th disposal. They've come all by hand so far as he lays it off to Akers. Kicks down to half forward. Curnow juggled attempt, no mark. Spills down to Walsh. He paddles it out in front. Walsh between the legs. Almost like a basketball move. Can't quite control it and it spills out of play. We'll have a boundary throw in here. 70 out from the Blues goal. How do you see it, Ramo? What do you made of the start?
Well, it's. I know the score will say Carlton are leading, but a lot of the play has felt like it's been up the Dogs' end, so they just haven't got reward. 6 behinds to the Dogs. 3 scoring shots to Carlton. They've just been more accurate.
De Koning just shoves English out of the way, knocks it down in the end to Akers, who swings onto his left, snaps the Blues inside 50. Mackay. He takes the mark. Had to just control it down.
He's presenting well. We spoke about Ugelhagen up one end of the ground. Harry's been terrific up the other end of the ground. I love the change in role. We've been so used to seeing Harry close to goal. But this season, it's a lot more Charlie Curnow close to goal. Harry Mackay, you see up on the wings, hitting up at the ball, creating contests. Even seen him in the ruck a couple of times this year.
Averages more than 2 goals a game against the Western Bulldogs and tugs this one hard right, just sneaking it through for a minor score. Carlton lead by 8 points, 23 minutes into the first. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
Interesting discussion to think who's had the better year out of Mackay and Curnow. I mean, the Coleman leaderboard, if you judge it by that, Curnow's on top, but for all those points that you mentioned, Ramo, I think many would say that Mackay has.
Yeah. Bramble brings it in, finds Dale, goes on a darting run, kicks towards Sanders, gets it back to Dale, hand pass to Gallagher, he's under pressure. Newman clever, sockers it to Akers, hand pass to Fogarty, Mackay's out downhill, takes the mark, uncontested, 25 out. And the Dogs just going a little too quick for their own good through the middle. The turnover cost them back the other way.
He didn't move, Harry. He missed the set shot and sort of just walked a couple of more metres inside forward 50. It looked like the Dogs were away.
That's what I was trying to tell my coaches all the years. I don't need to chase up.
Empty out.
I've got all this space.
That's right. My mids are going to turn it over for me. And it's a bit kamikaze there, the Dogs. You can see what they're trying to do. But, well done. The Blues were onto it there. Good pressure.
Mackay, drop punt, good. And that's a nice start for the Blues. Beaten around the ground, but they're making it work in front of the sticks. 3-2-20. The Bulldogs, 6 scoring shots, 6 behinds. It's Carlton by 14 points. Time on opening term.
Well, Bally, amazingly, the possession count in this game is 63 to the Bulldogs, 98 to Carlton. But if you look at the inside 50s, 10 to the Bulldogs, 8 only to Carlton. So with those 8 inside 50s, Carlton kicked 3 goals too already.
Yeah, and marking the footy, the Blues, both uncontested and contested. We spoke about their aerial prowess today with, loaded up, I guess, with their keys. 33 marks already for the quarter. So that's a worrying stat there. If they're able to control the footy like that, you just know that this forward line's going to get enough opportunity to kick a winning score today.
Jess Webster on the boundary.
Jordan Boyd has just headed down into the rooms with the doctors. He came to the bench limping on his left leg. It looks like a lower left leg injury, and he's down the race with the doctors getting that checked out.
Blues out of the middle again. Elijah Hollins, high kick, shallow inside 50 entry, spoiled away back into the middle of the ground. Liberatore tackled by Krebs. Manages to get a kick away, dribbles towards centre half back for the Dogs, picked up by Bailey Dale. He's gang tackled.
And that's exactly where the confusion happens there. So a moment earlier, Bailey Williams gets done for holding the ball. Libber there, he had more time than Bailey Williams and not paid.
English palms it down straight to Chera, kicks inside 50, and Zach Williams back with the flight. Takes a nice mark. Mackay riding shotgun, receives the footy, snaps it goalward and misses to the far side. So Carlton 3-3, Dogs 6 behinds. 26 minutes into the opening term, Carlton by 15. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron calling the action. Jess Webster on the boundary. And our premiership players, Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas.
Bramble brings it back in. Bailey Dale, a bullet-like pass. Beautifully delivered to Poulter on the wing. He moves it on to Ugle-Hagan, forward of the centre line, city side of the ground. Ugle-Hagan, room to amble. He goes for a little trot, then kicks up to half forward. Good Mark Wiedering.
Yeah, and Sam Darcy rightfully just saying, give it some air, give us a chance to compete at least and bring the ball to ground. That's bread and butter for Jacob Wiedering.
Blues back in possession. He goes back to Newman, who swings it out towards the dock side of the ground, and Jure's there for the Doggies.
Oh, he's going to pay 50.
A 50-metre penalty, so Harry Mackay just cruising by. And
well, I think it's against Zach Williams.
Goodness me.
So he's marked it, and I think then Zach Williams thought he was juggling the ball and sort of just overcrept the mark by a couple of metres.
Largely momentum, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gee, that's a lucky break there. He's just got to kick this, Taylor Jure.
Hasn't kicked one this year.
With all the hard work, it's a terrific effort, terrific mark.
Dual premiership Hawk. He needs this for the Dogs. And it's off the side of the boot. Misses to the left-hand side. They've kicked 7 behinds. More scoring shots than the Blues, who are 3-3-21 and lead by 14 points, closing in on quarter time. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
And a number of those shots that they've had have been from set shots as well for the Bulldogs. So gettable chances under the roof, and they haven't been able to convert any of them. Long exiting kicks punched out of bounds at halfback for the Blues.
What happens to a team's psyche when this happens, Bawley and Rama?
Oh, well, just deflating. It is, yeah. It is. Because I think it's been a pretty good battle through the middle of the ground. Their mids are working hard. I think the pressure's been pretty good. And when you don't get the reward on the scoreboard in a game where you're probably underdogs as it is, it's a real challenge.
Pitternatt palms it down in front of Cripps. Little kick back inboard, picked off by Lobb. Heads down to half forward. Waitman leaps up into the pack. No mark. Ball spills out. Sard clever. Paddles it to the advantage of Ollie Hollins. Has to get rid of it in a hurry. Marchbank scoops it up. Got it out to Newman. Newman still at halfback. Hand pass to Sard. Kicks outside of the left boot. Down towards the wing. He was dumped after getting rid of it. He's going against Waitman. And Newman's coming to bump into him too. The Blues have taken the advantage, and Fogarty marks. 25 metres out, just right of centre, right on the bell. And the Waitman free kick may prove costly.
Oh, Will it White. I mean, we love Cody Waitman here, don't we? But just undisciplined. No point in trapping off back to Nick Newman. You're going to cost your team a goal here on quarter time.
It's not tough getting late.
Right in front of the coach too.
If you can actually bump late, you should be able to smother the ball.
It'll be a goalless quarter. They will both have had 7 scoring shots. And Fogarty lets them off the hook. Absolutely, Bally. Right on the stroke of quarter time. Misses to the near side. So Carlton have kicked 3 of their 7 looks. The Dogs haven't kicked any. 7 behinds the Western Bulldogs. Carlton 3 goals 4. And at a quarter time, it's Carlton by 15 points. The goal kickers, Matt always has a couple. Harry Mackay has the other. There was a bit of late drama after the teams dropped. Adam Treloar came out with a calf injury. So Gallagher, who was meant to be the sub, has been upgraded to start in the 22. And Riley Garcia comes in out of being the carryover emergency to basically suit up, and he's going to start as the tactical sub and has done so. Meanwhile, Matt Kennedy is the sub for Carlton. In the afternoon slot, it was Hawthorn kicking the last 3 of the game to overrun the Dockers. They win by 13 points at York Park in Launceston. While the Sydney Swans welcoming back both Callum Mills and Luke Parker. They win by 79 points over North Melbourne at the SCG. Your thoughts on 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. The thoughts of our premiership players, Rama and Bawley, coming up next. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
So what's the most entertaining thing about sport?
All the stuff that goes on beyond the final whistle, of course.
Correct.
In a brand new show, Tony Armstrong and Catherine Murphy go deep into the weekend's biggest stories with special guests and self-confessed fanatics.
Join us for the weekend that was in sport.
Heads up for Monday's Experts.
That's us, Tony.
Of course it is.
I knew that.
Monday's Experts, 9:35 Monday nights on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Saad runs 12 metres. Oh! And Waitman goes upstairs. Jumping Cody Waitman getting airborne.
Back pocket Bramble. Handball back to Williams. Met solidly. The tackle from Owies holding the ball. Gee, as soon as he received it, tried to fight off Matt Owies. Owies sticks the tackle and the upstairs, holding the ball. 11th minute of the game, and the goalless game is no more. As Matt Owies runs the boundary line and pops up the Carlton faithful. He kicks the game's first goal at the 11-minute mark.
Gerard takes the advantage for the Blues. Kicks to Curnow, attacking point of the square. Loops a handball out in front of Williams. Unselfishly delivers it to Owies. Back leading, he marks at the top of the goal square. 15 out, directly in front. Matt Owies, no worries.
Newman clever, sockers it to Akers, hand pass to Fogarty, Mackay's out downhill, takes the mark, uncontested, 25 out. Mackay, drop punt, good. And that's a nice start for the Blues.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
The Blues with the only 3 goals in the game. It's Carlton by 15 points, quarter time at Docklands. The thoughts on Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas on ABC Sport.
Entertaining quarter of footy, Rama, with a few highlights, of course. The Cody Waitman mark of the week at the moment, and not far off. Probably didn't quite get the elevation that Bobby Hill and Jamie Elliott did, but I mean, it was a bit of a tale of missed opportunities, really, for the Dogs. You look at the numbers, and they're pretty even around clearance and contest. You know, that was always going to be a big battle today with these 2 midfield groups, and yeah, it's been a reasonable contest around there. Really, the difference is Carlton's 3 goals have come from turnover, really. And the first one, good pressure from Matt Owies. You know, I think to be able to close down that, whether the free kick was there or not, we're not sure. And then again, we can see what the Dogs are trying to do off half back, to really get some speed on the ball and try and expose Carlton's team defence through the middle of the ground and get the ball deep and long over Wiedering. It hasn't worked sometimes. You know, a handful of times they've kicked it straight to him. Really, Wiedering, and he's been, pretty hard to get around. But having said that, Ugle-Hagan has looked dangerous. I think he's, as you said, he's presenting well. This is the day where he really needs to act and be the number 1 forward there for the Dogs, and you've got to take those chances as well. But yeah, really, just a little bit of polish in a sense from the Dogs, and Carlton's ability to punish on turnover, and just getting their hands on the footy too. I mean, you look at the Bulldogs' prime movers, just haven't had the footy, other than Bailey Dale, who's had it 9 times. No one's had over 5 possessions. So there's some real sort of opportunity for your upside there for Richards and Bontempelli, who's got his hands full with Chin Cotter, we know that. Riley Sanders, can you get your possession rate up to 20-25 today with no Adam Treloar? Opportunity for him. I mean, from Carlton's point of view, Cripps has been relatively quiet. Walsh likewise had some moments. Chera's had some moments as well, but it hasn't been one midfielder dominating. It's been pretty even through there, but really, if you're looking for a lift, the Dogs need to start getting their hands on the footy through the middle of the ground.
What the Dogs are allowing, they're protecting their backline. So they're allowing Carlton to chip the ball around in their backline. So you look at the top of the stat sheet, Akers had a lot of his possession in the backline, 13. Yep. Newman's had 10. Wiedering's had 8. Sard's had 7. So that's all in the back half. So the Bulldogs are trying to hold as much as the ground as possible to protect their smaller and inexperienced defence. Now, it worked relatively well in that first quarter. The scoreboard could easily be 4 goals to 3 in their favour if they had a kick straight.
Rammer and Bawley on ABC Sport. Carlton by 15 points as we start the second term. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron, Luke Ball, Adam Ramanauskas, and we'll get to Jess Webster in just a moment as we start quarter number 2. Pitternet wins the hit out for the Blues. Out in front of Cripps, tried to soccer it twice, hit the first time, second time, had a fresh air swing. Still a live footy in the middle of the ground. Liberatore whacks it forward, straight to Boyd of the Blues. Hand pass away to Chincotta, kicks Carlton inside 50, and Karmas takes an intercept mark for the Bulldogs. Immediately looks corridor, goes short to Liver. Who marks at centre-half back. Carlton by 15 points, start of the second term.
The Karmas match-up, that's working so far for the Dogs. Only 1 handball for Charlie Curnow. 1 mark, 1 handball so far.
Here's Bontempelli on the wing, kicking for Poulter. High half forward for the Dogs. City side of the ground, he'll come infield. Sanders takes it. Looks deep inside 50, sets it up. High ball towards full forward. Darcy there, getting back. Pitternet punches it out, trying to come. Jess Webster on the boundary.
Just a quick update on Jordan Boyd. It's a cooked calf that is troubling him at the moment. He rejoined the group at quarter time with that left calf strapped up, but looks like he's going to try and run it out, which is good news.
Carlton by 15 points. Thrown in the forward pocket for the Dogs. English taps it down, follows up on the bounce. Unable to do anything with it. Kemp over the top of it, rolls away from the footy. Now Cowan applying the tackle and a ball up. 15 out from the attacking goal for the Dogs.
The Dogs towards the Coventry end of this second term, the only end of the ground that's had a goal so far after the Dogs' goalless opening quarter. Waitman's tackled high. Outskirts of the stoppage, 2-man tackle, Walsh and Chera. And Cody Waitman
That's there.
Draws the free kick here. He'll get it out left half forward for the Dogs.
Yep, certainly high.
I think he's a master at it, isn't he? He's bending down to pick up the ball. It must be said, but just lowering his centre of gravity there. And Sam Walsh, who I think was a bit more dirty himself, wasn't he? More so than the umpire's decision. Certainly a free kick.
He's taken a high mark already today. It's a highlight with a goal here. Hooks it across the body. It's the Dogs first. And it comes a couple of minutes into quarter number 2. The Bulldogs 1-7-13. Carlton a 3-4-22. The Blues by 9 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
And he does attack the ball on this occasion, Bally Waitman. So, in previous games that we've seen, he really plays for that free kick. But on this occasion, it was because he had his head over the football, his eyes on the football, that they went high. So that's the Cody Waitman that we know. The Cody Waitman that plays for free kicks is one that will stop getting them, unfortunately.
The SMS, by the way, 0437 774 774. Madison from Sydney, not a Carlton supporter, but a massive Paddy Cripps fan. He's an incredible player, an incredible leader on your Cripper. Thanks, Madison. 0437 774 774. The SMS.
Crooked bounce in the middle. I don't want to overstep my remit here as the 2IC to you, Corbin, but I love my Northampton question. I don't know whether there would be any place in the country that could rival the footy produce that Northampton has provided as Liberatore goes out of the middle. Driving ball inside 50. Wiedering has a lot of it, paid the mark. Maybe one for the SMS, but a number of stars out of a town of 800 people, Northampton. So the Cripps boys are cousins. Josh Kennedy of the West Coast Eagles, Harry Taylor, Daniel Chick, a few more. I'll get there eventually. As Kemp kicks long up to the wing for the Blues, and the mark taken there by Richards of the Western Bulldogs, City side of the ground.
Richards draws the player on the mark in Mackay and then goes long inside the forward 50. Darcy back pedaling, threw his hands out at no mark, close to the boundary line and seen out by Cowan. We'll have a boundary throw-in. I think the only one that comes to mind, small population, high football output, would have to be the Tiwi Islands, wouldn't it? To think about the amount of Norm Smith medalists that have come from a place of a relatively small population, obviously Cyril and Morris and there's all the great names over the years. Michael Long, absolutely. Great footy place that is. Here's Bontempelli with a special right on cue. Spin move at the stoppage and kicks a goal up his preferred left boot. Yes. And the Bont shows us what he's capable of again. 2-7-19, Carlton a 3-4-22, and all of a sudden we got a 3-point game. Blues just 4.5 into the second.
I just watched him for a minute there, Rammer, from the centre bounce, and we know that Cincotta, as soon as the bounce goes, starts at half forward and comes and jumps in his back pocket. And I mean, that's just sometimes you just got to dip your cap, don't you? Yeah, that's just brilliant forward stoppage craft.
If you're a young kid, just watch how he works through traffic. He doesn't stand still. He's got Cincotta right on his back through this stoppage. Then he just pushes him last moment, bang, then sidesteps and he's out.
Yeah.
And Cincotta he hasn't got the athleticism, he hasn't got the agility to go with Bont because he's always prepared to move around a contest.
Pitnet wins the tap coming through though. Bontempelli again paddles out towards the wing, gathers. Walsh has got him, gets a handball away for the Dogs. Ball hits the deck, Chera picks it up, Blues back with it. Handball to Pitnet, handball to Walsh on the logo, shovels it over the top for Cottrell. He has to go back to Chera, kicks off a step, Fraser with the swirl. Getting it again there, Chera though, gives it back to Pitnet. He'll kick up towards half forward. And the mark taken there for the Dogs by Fraser at right half back. Caulfield wants to kick around the wing, up towards the logo. Flying in from the side is Waitman. Unable to take another high mark on this occasion. Cincotta picking it up. Handball away to Koning. He'll get a handball out towards the boundary line and it'll tumble out. So a throw in to come between the benches. Carlton lead by 3.6 minutes into this second term. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
John from Melbourne off the SMS throws up Assumption College. So schools get a little difficult though, don't they? We're talking more about geographical areas, but appreciate that. John?
The Davises, the Jettas, and they're all from the same town, are they, in WA?
We'll go to work on that as Richards bursts away for the stoppage, goes long inside the forward 50, and Wiedering takes the mark. Remember Swan Districts Way, there was Natanui, Walters.
Yeah, same street.
Yes.
Bushby Street, I believe.
Yes.
It's 5 intercept marks for Jacob Wiedering. It's just got to be destruction. I mean, that was just a poor kick from Richards under no pressure.
Kemp to Saab to Boyd. All short kicking game in the back half. Boyd pulls the trigger, broken up by Dale. Dogs win it back. Liberatore, hand pass to Dale. Sells the dummy. On the run. Bailey Dale. Signature goal from the halfback. Flashes through, kicks it on the run. And it's always a little sweeter when you can sell some candy and turn the lead around. The Bulldogs on top by 3 points. 7.5 gone into second term. The Dogs 3-7-25. Carlton a 3-4-22. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. We have a game. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanauskas.
Just a poor option, wasn't it? Young Boyd there. Kick inside. Just off the one step. Poor option and poor execution. Just hung in the air way too long. Bailey Dale. It's interesting, Raymond, because Bailey Dale's got the Cincotta matchup. Yeah. So, okay, it's all well and good, Alex Cincotta. You want to come up and track Marcus Bontempelli as a midfielder.
Who's next?
That's right. Who's next? And in that situation across the middle of the ground? Who's responsible for Bailey Dale? Well, he's too good a player. He's had 11 possessions and a goal.
Well, it's one of Elijah Hollands.
I think it's Hollands. Hollands is the one.
Chera or Walsh.
English winning the tap in the middle, down in the Bontempelli direction. Eventually Richards squeezes a kick to half forward, bouncing ball. Boyd gathers there. Handball too hot for Kemp. Dogs back with it. Half forward McRae to Waitman. Shovels out a handball to Bailey Williams, gives it to Bontempelli, works his way through them. It's coming back. Non-controlling umpire charging in to pay a free kick, and it's going the way of Newman. So Carlton to get it. Centre half back, the mark set right on the arc of their defensive 50. Bulldogs lead it by 3 points. Carlton 3 goals to zip in the first term. The Bulldogs have responded with 3 of their own in the second term.
The lefty comes out wide. Newman finds Marchbank. On track to play his 100th for the Blues in round 22. Nick Newman, after the first 31 games of his career with the Swans, kicks down the boundary line here. Marchbank and finds Curnow.
I reckon he's got to get up the ground a bit more. We saw Harry Mackay do it in the first quarter, but Curnow now needs to break the shackles a bit and get up the ground and get involved in the play.
That's his first kick of the game. Goes laterally to Boyd. Boyd short kick to Saad. Marks middle of Docklands. Dogs back in front. They lead it by 3 points. They've kicked their first 3 goals of the game in the space of 5 minutes in this second term. Saad goes wide to Kemp. Short kick inside 50. Awkward half volley pick up Elijah Hollands. Hand pass to Akers. Handball back to Kemp. Handball out wide to Mackay. Has to snap from 45 out to the top of the goal square. Ball hits the deck. West scoops it up for the Dogs. Hand pass to Waitman. Handball back to English.
Tumble punt out towards the wing. Marchbank drops the mark. Goes back and gets it. Gets a handball away. Cops some high contact as well. So the free kick will come back and go the way of Fingers Marchbank. He'll kick into the middle of the ground for Walsh. He can look at the leading lanes inside 50. On the offer is Mackay and he takes the mark. 45 metres out, tumbling to ground on a 45-degree angle, right-hand side, the right side for his left foot.
It's a good kick from Walsh. Had 18 Dogs players in front of him. And really, it was the only pocket of space on that open side, that fat side. The kick almost drew Harry Mackay into it. He was just starting to get on top of Rory Lobb a little bit. Tough shot, but certainly at his best is capable.
To flip the lead. The drop punt from Mackay is perfect. His second. And it goes from a 3-point deficit to a 3-point lead for the Blues. 4-4-28. Plays 3-7-25. 11 played second term Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball.
And that one doesn't count, Corb, to the total. He was inside the sponsor's logo on that pocket, so got to be outside.
Yes,
got to be outside the sponsor logo.
The Bermuda Triangle
yes,
pocket.
correct.
Toughest one in the stadium.
It is. It's the toughest one. There's a weird breeze there. I've never been able to work. But it's a great lead. It's a great learning for Rory Lobb. We're talking about a player that's 30. He's played 3 or 4 games as a defender. Harry Mackay's just got to take advantage of that. Take as much, and Carlton have got to be aware of that up the field. So let's isolate Harry as much as we possibly can. He's clearly got an advantage over Rory Lobb.
Third lead change, Blues by 3. DeConing down to Cripps, fights through a tackle, got it to Elijah Hollands, kicks inside 50. Karmas works off Curnow, takes the mark.
He looks quite comfortable at the moment, Claude, on Curnow.
Hand pass to Dale, dynamic start from him, kicks up to the wing, hands on it from West, no mark. Out in front of Newman for the Blues. He's worried off it, collected by Poulter and shoved out of bounds. We'll have a throw in front of the bench. Carlton by 3 points, 12 gone second term. Corbin, Middlemass, Penn, Cameron, Chess Webster on the boundary. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanauskas. There was a late change. There's no Treloar to the undermanned Bulldogs as Gallagher into the 22. Garcia starts as their sub.
DeConing taking it out of the ruck. Handball a turnover. Poulter there. He loses it. Now footy on the wing that's on the deck. Bouncing ball for DeConing. He gets a handball away straight to Richards. And they make him the meat and the sandwich of the DeConing and Chincotta tackle. So a throw in on the wing.
So what, I think it was Poulter there who got tackled. That's what's expected. Or it was Ed Richards. So if you got one arm free, just quickly try to throw it on your boot.
Umpire puts it up. DeConing, just a soft little tap down, but the Dogs come away with it. Bailey Dale at half back here for the Western Bulldogs.
Hand pass to Sanders. Sanders off a single step, high up and under down the wing. Darcy, the tallest man there, reaches up, takes it overhead. Just a couple of weeks with that suspension. He's back in the team. Turns 21 on Friday, by the way, young Sam Darcy. So much potential and what a great prospect he is. And as I'm giving him a rap, he turns it over as Newman takes the intercept mark at half back. Carlton by 3 points halfway through the second. Kicks wide for Cripps and Darcy covering good ground, whacks it out of play.
So Bally mentioned about Bailey Dale earlier. So Chincotta starts with him. Chincotta then goes up to Bontempelli. Bailey Dale's up to 13 possessions and a goal, and his metres gained is more than anybody on the ground at the moment. 269 metres gained, so need to stop him.
Carlton leading by 3 points. They come away with it from the stoppage. Driving ball from Chincotta. And Mackay tumbling to ground. Takes the mark overhead. Out points Buku Karmas. And 15 metres out. Slightest of angles. Will go back and shoot for his third.
No, that was against Rory Lobb again, Benny. Big strong mark there by Mackay.
I just saw Buku on the ground.
Yeah, no. He came into it.
He came in third man up.
Certainly against Rory Lobb.
Harry Mackay wheels around and snaps the goal. He's got 3. Carlton out by 9 points. And they swing the momentum. 5-4-34 plays 3-7-25. 14 minutes into the second. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
Certainly the most dangerous forward on the ground, isn't he, at the moment? Big Harry. That time it was too pure a clearance, not enough pressure on. It was Chin Cotter coming out the front of a stoppage at half forward. A nice deep entry. Not a lot Rory Lobb can do there. Not a lot any defender can do, to be fair to Rory, in that situation. So, yeah, he's looking dangerous, Harry. He's looking like he's on track for a big... It's interesting, isn't it? At that time there, 15 metres out, directly in front, he goes around the corner. That's the previous 3 or 4 shots, Corb. He's gone back and kicked straight. Interesting, his mindset around that.
I'm with you, Ball. He's had a great year. Up to 42 goals, Harry Mackay. He's been an imposing prospect early in this game as Pitternet wins it down to Fogarty. Hurried kick forward, Elijah Hollands. Hand pass over his head, back to Chin Cotter. Kicks inside 50, Lob hitting up, spills the mark. Favours Bramble, though. And Karma's slipping over a couple of times there as he goes to ground again. Bramble out towards half-back. Eventually controlled by English, shoots a hand pass forward. Cripps a telling touch on the way through. Knocked it to Pitternet, Blues back with it. Hand pass to Elijah Holland, sends Carlton inside 50. Curnow! Didn't get it initially, leapt early. And in the end, he takes it on the way back down to the ground.
Yeah, good body control. They're both big boys there, De Koning and Curnow in the marking contest. Karma's copped a really good corky out of that contest also. But just good body control. Usually when you get hit, at times it takes you right off the line of the ball, but Curnow just big and strong enough to stay on the line of the ball and take a really good mark.
The game's premier goal kicker for 3 straight years. He misses. His second kick of the game out to the left. It's a poor miss by his standards. It is Carlton by 10 points. 16 minutes travelled, second term Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Bailey Dale running by, kicks the Dogs up to the wing. Poulter marks, very wide out, loops it over the top. Duray running along the boundary line, sends the Dogs to half forward. Good mark. Hemp reaching up, able to take it, half-back flank for the Blues.
Terrific mark. It's just got to come to ground, though.
Oh, he kicks out of bounds on the full. Turns it straight back over, so the Doggies will get it back. Carlton by 10 points.
Dr. A with the footy, high half forward, goes long into the forward pocket. Jamara the target. That crashes over the top of him, spills down. Darcy, hand pass away to West. And the 2 second-generation Bulldogs hook through another for the Dogs. And the family lineage showing through. The Bulldogs 4-7-31, Carlton 5-5-35. Blues lead Cup to 4. 17 gone in the second term. And almost immediately, as soon as I called it, I apologise. Of course, Sam Darcy is a 3rd-generation Bulldog, so need to point that out. You know what I was getting at? The lineage of Bulldogs through the years. Carlton by 4 points Saturday.
He's going to be a generational player.
We got to call.
That's what I was after.
That's it. Yeah, but the ball came to ground. I just finished saying Rapper before the turnover there. It was a bit of friendly fire there with Kemp and Sard. Clashing heads. They both look okay. Both running back to their spot, but that would hurt. But yeah, Jamara, the contest before that, he was outmarked by Kemp. And, today it's going to be one of those days where it's not always going to be on a platter. Sometimes you've just got to bring the ball to ground. Darcy was the one who got the crumb there. Nice handball. And Riley West, who we know is a sharpshooter.
Restart in the middle. English trying to slap it down. Both rucks with hands on it, though. Liberatore goes and gets it. He's tackled, though, by Cripps. Umpire lets them rumble. Said he got a handball away and lets them play on. Maybe no prior, perhaps. And a ball up to come in the middle.
Sorry, Benny. There was prior and he did get a handball and the umpire was right there. He just
missed it.
Gave him the benefit of the doubt there.
Carlton by 4 points. English telling touch down towards Bailey Williams. Hand pass back to English. Ugly kick inside 50. Jamara takes the mark. Centre half forward for the Dogs.
No, just go back. You've definitely got the distance. Unless there's an obvious target inside 50 now, just take the responsibility. This is what you get paid for.
Jamara Ugle-Hagan, he's had 2 looks, missed them both from set shots at the other end. His first attempt in the second quarter, Ugle-Hagan, long-range drop punt, fades to the left, stays alive. McRae hands it to West, he misses. Across the face, a goal or behind. Carlton by 3 points. 19 minutes gone, second term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
It's hard to bring it back in. Goes for a little trot. That long left leg and the woof. from the Carlton fans. Kicks into the middle. Curnow might have got a shove.
Yeah, he did.
No free kick paid. Caulfield there for the Dogs. Dribbles his kick and turns it over. Elijah Hollands picks it up. Kicks to Curnow. Attacking edge of the square to Cripps. Breaks the 50 and kicks the goal. Captain Cripps. A moment to celebrate him. Carried this club for so long. And now looking to salute with the cup this year. 6-5-41 the Blues. The Western Bulldogs 4-8-32. 19 minutes into this second term. The Blues by 9 points. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball.
Just transition bally. Initially terrific kick out of fullback by Adam Sard. I love those more attacking kicks when they're coming out of fullback. It was a clear push against Curnow, but this is the beauty of Charlie Curnow and the athlete. He stays involved. So he's able then to get up, get the next possession. I was thinking he was going for it by himself. Saw Cripps out of the corner of the eye, gave it to the skipper. And then it was a beautiful goal. Well done, Paddy Cripps.
3-time All-Australian, 4-time best and fairest. And a 195-centimetre freak. Of course, the Brownlow medalist, Patrick Cripps. What a moment in game 200. Pitternet palms it down to the other superstar out there, Bontempelli for the Dogs. Hand pass to Lever, sends it inside 50. Darcy not quite, can't reel it in, spills to Ugle-Hagan. Hand pass to McRae, handball to Vandermeer, high up and under into the pocket, and Sard punches it away from Waitman. Boundary throwing left forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Carlton by 9 points.
Just had to stick, didn't it, that mark. Brilliant centre clearance from the big guns, Bontempelli to Liberatore. Great kick to advantage. Unfortunately, the mark didn't stick.
English and Pitternet, neither decisive. Walsh down at the front of the rucks. Can't gather it. Spills out towards Sanders. He can't either. Cowan's there for the Blues. Back to Ollie Hollands, snapping beyond defensive 50. Cottrell drops it. Spills to McNeil for the Dogs. Hooks it back towards full forward. Spoiled down. Bontempelli gathers. Can't quite shake the tackle. Ollie Hollands has got him. Getting back Kemp, and then eventually Newman ushers it over.
Well done, Ollie Hollands.
To Elijah. Kick out comes in a hurry from Newman. And Elijah Hollands heads down the line to Mackay. Just hooks a kick down the wing. Oh, he's outnumbered and outsized. Dogs have 3 there and they win it. Bramble, hand pass to Lobb. Slick hands through to Fraser. The 18-year-old gives it wide to Caulfield. Kicks to half forward and Mackay picks it off. Just some housekeeping. Carlton by 8 points. 22 gone second term. Earlier today, Hawthorn by 13 over the Dockers. Kicked the last 3 goals of the game to overrun Freo in Tassie. And it was Sydney by 79 points over North Melbourne.
Kicks up to a contest on the wing, crashing the pack English. Spills down almost between the legs there of Curnow. Chincotta at the bottom of the pack. Gets rid of it, but Bramble emerges with it for the Dogs. A left foot spiral inside 50. Ugle-Hagan in from the side and controls it down to take the mark. Stuck out his right mid. It dropped down right into his breadbasket. 45 out. Slight angle, Jess Webster.
Zach Williams has just come to the Blues bench. He immediately grabbed for his hamstring just right near the interchange gate, straight off, and it looks like he's heading straight down the race with the doctors. It doesn't look good at all. I'll keep you updated.
The drop punt from Jamara is good. And it's back to a 2-point game. The plucky Dogs are hanging around. 6-5-41 plays 5-9-39. Nearly 23 played in this second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
He's looking imposing, isn't he? That was a little bit of brilliance, really, just to be able to launch at the footy out of position, roll it down with the right hand. Yeah,
4 marks.
Yeah, that's right. 4 marks, and it's a good battle. He's fighting back. I thought Wiedering's first quarter was pretty good. As I said, he's had 5 or 6 intercept marks himself. Jacob Wiedering, just the last 5 or 10 minutes, Ugle-Hagan getting on his bike a bit. I think that's the key, obviously, against Jacob Wiedering. Don't let him stay at home and feel comfortable. Terrific mark and a lovely finish from right on the paint. Good contest, this.
Just 2 points in it. Ugle-Hagan with his 4th set shot at goal. He's got his first of the day. Fogarty knocks it out in front of Cripps. He knocks it back to Pitternet. Pitternet, big man, little spin move. Got it out towards Cripps. Hand pass to Newman, his hand pass, a little ordinary, forces the turnover, picked up by Richards, hand pass to Vandermeer, got it out by hand to Dale, he's got Chincotta to contend with, ball spills to Bontempelli, knocks it further wide, scrappy for the Dogs, but they work it forward. Richards kicks down to Kemp, ricochets fortunately for Giray, gives it by hand to McRae, kicks to full forward, what a lead, Bailey Williams! Jumping up and marking it full forward for the Dogs, he's got it 12 out directly in front.
A little babysit, that one, isn't it? Let's get the nice little run and jump.
That's like the bag at practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Little knee into it.
Yeah. It's good wing play, though, isn't it? I mean, we know that Blake Acres is terrific at getting back and supporting his defence. That time, Williams got back with him.
Got to kick this. Straight in front, Bailey Williams, no problems. Dogs back on top. Lead change number 4. 25 minutes into the second term. The Doggies 6'9", Carlton a 6'5". Concerns for Zach Williams' hamstring. We'll get Jess Webster to follow up on that. He's down in the rooms at the moment for the Blues. Jess.
I don't think we're going to see Zach Williams for the rest of the game. Matt Kennedy's warming up on the bench, already having the conversations with the coaches and the doctor staff on the bench. So he looks like he's preparing to come on. Zach is still in the change rooms with the doctors. But, yeah, looking quite disappointed scenes here on the Blues bench at the moment. So I think that Zach Williams is done for the day. The sub will be made, and that is going to be a huge noise, just devastating. A huge news, rather, devastating for Zach.
Yeah, it's a big blow, isn't it? They just won a hot footy there. There was a really hot footy in the middle of the ground, and Bontempelli, guess who got involved, and that's been the theme of the quarter. Plus 11 contested footy for the quarter, the Dogs.
Get the last 2 goals in the game. Both rucks, English and De Koning with hands on it. Down towards Bontempelli, but getting involved Walsh. Picks it up, off to De Koning. Left foot floated to half forward. Kerno there, Karmas right there with him. And a free kick. Going the way of Charlie Kerno. I think Buku Karmas shares your sentiment. Kerno wheels and goes. He's a beautiful kick from range. Slots it. 5th lead change of the afternoon evening. Carlton by 2 points, 7-5-47 plays, 6-9-45. Adam Ramanauskas was it there?
Well, no, you can consider himself really unlucky. That's just a marking contest against 2 key position players. So I'm not sure where the hold is. We're going to get the reverse angle here. So there's no hold. There's still no hold. There's no hold.
Oh, that's just a poor decision. It cost you a goal. I mean, that's what's disappointing about that. And right for Buku Karmas has been terrific. He's up against it. We know that. Been terrific in this first half. And his opponent just gets gifted a goal from a good contest.
It's just 2 big, strong players in a contest together.
Lead has swung on the last 2 goals in the game. Charlie Kerno up to 47 on the year, the Coleman medal leader and 2-time defending champ. De Koning down to Cripps. Can he get a break here for Carlton? He's tackled, ball held underneath him. Cripps knocks it out eventually. Still scrappy, middle of Docklands. Liberatore hands it to Bontempelli. He's tackled by Chera. Dispossessed. Advantage applied, set holding the ball, the umpire. De Koning kicks inside 50. Rory Lobb leaping up and intercept marking centre half back for the Bulldogs.
He kicks out towards the dockside wing, searching for Sanders, doesn't find him. Cowan's there to gather for the Blues, gives it off to Marchbank. Acres on the wing, waiting a kick for Chincotta, and waiting it perfectly. Chincotta gives it back to Acres, running by. He'll set it up into the pocket, looking for Kerno. The vertical leap he marks. Deep in the left forward pocket. And that free kick might have just got him into the game, gents.
Could easily just get your tail up. Bit of adrenaline just running through. He loves these around the corner.
Starting with his heels on the boundary line. A handful of steps out and curls it just a little bit narrow. Carlton by 3 points, Jess Webster.
Carlton sub Matt Kennedy is officially coming into the game, standing on the gates, ready to come back on. The official word from Carlton is that Zach Williams is subbed off with hamstring tightness, but he did feel for it straight away, so we will wait to see the outcome of that post-game.
Thanks, Jess. Little chuckle there, Ram.
Surprised it's not hamstring awareness.
Yeah. He straight his hamstring. Come on.
English to Caulfield, back to Lobb, and now out towards the dock side of the ground as Karmas marks at half-back. Goes with a short kick to Dale. Carlton by 3 points. They've certainly gone up in tempo, entertaining quarter at 4 lead changes in this term alone. Carlton by 3 at the moment, ticking towards half-time. Short kick, Dale to Libber. Gives it back to Dale. That's a dart. Links up with McRae. Front edge of the centre square. Hand pass to Richard. Slips it. A Conan tackle. Can't beat Walsh. Holding the ball. Free kick for Carlton at centre half back. And the Blues are going to come up with a footy here. They lead by 3. 29 minutes travelled in the second term.
Well, they get away with it there, but it's starting to become a bit of concern for Michael Voss, the Bailey Dale match-up, or the tactic around the half-forward coming up and releasing him across half-back. He's just having too much impact on the game.
That 10 this quarter, ball.
Long kick from Boyd out towards the City wing, off hands, out of play. Got a beautiful golf swing too, Bailey Dale.
And it's not the 10, it's the metres game.
Yeah. It's a good 10. It's
a
averaging 10.
They're all going forward.
That's right.
And you were talking about Northampton earlier as a footy hotspot. We've had a nomination put forward for Cobden in Western Victoria. Yeah. Alistair and Stuart Lord, Gary Rowan. I think Zach Merritt's from there, isn't he? Sam Walsh, John Rantol, all thrown forward as options.
Eddie Cunnington.
Not a bad suggestion. I did miss Paul Hazelby earlier on as well.
Is that deliberate?
No, it wasn't. Kennedy kicks the Blues towards half forward, down off the pack, coming through Owies. He's on the run, fires from wide out and hits the behind post.
Friend of yours, Hayes, you often throw some shade his way. I thought maybe that was your way of doing so.
I don't know how I forgot poor old Hazo, but so to be. Carlton lead by 3 points here, closing in on half-time. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Buku Kamas takes the free kick, left back pocket. Goes long down the City boundary line to Coney. Leaping up and marking over the back of English.
A little baby speck.
Gee, it's a good grab. Kicks towards centre half forward. Scrap back on for the footy. Spills down towards Duray. He jams it on the boot. Out towards the wing again. Picked up by Jamara. Got a hand pass through to Waitman. Still scrappy footy. Knocked forward by Sanders. Jamara goes and wins it again. Second touch in the chain. Hand pass to McNeil. Heads inside 50. Target is Poulter. No free kick. Yes, he's getting one. Front on contact against Wiedering. And it'll go to Caleb Poulter, wide out at left half forward for the Doggies.
No. That's just a good body spoil.
Well, it's a drop mark too. That's what
right.
it is. So he gets away with it there, Caleb Poulter. And maybe that's the square up for the Curnow free kick at this end. Wrong pocket, left footer. Isn't that a big day, Caleb Poulter? 6 possessions, chance to have a big impact on the game here.
Former Magpie mid-season recruit again out of Footscray's VFL. Caleb Poulter, left back against the boundary line. Pure finish. Straight through it goes. Never looked like missing. And the Bulldogs are back in front. That is lead change number 6. 5 of them in the second term alone, which has now run 32 minutes and counting. The Bulldogs 7-9 lead Carlton 7-6. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
11-goal quarter.
Yeah. Dogs kicked 7.
Yeah, 7 goals 2 they've kicked compared to the 7 behinds in that first quarter. So really good going here, getting plenty of value for their 13 inside 50s in this quarter, the Dogs. And their forward line looks dangerous. Their forward line's got speed in it. Athleticism in it with Ugle-Hagan.
Yeah, he was involved in it.
Yeah, so it's working nicely for the Dogs down there.
Kicked 4 of the last 6 goals in the game. Bounce in the middle. Both rucks miss it. It spills down towards De Koning inadvertently. Gives it to Walsh. Tumbling kick to half forward. Bouncing ball. Attacking at Bailey Dale. Makes it his own. Having a good day. Feeds the forward handball to the runner Bontempelli. Long left foot kick towards Ugle-Hagan. Juggles it. Sard halves it. Coming through Waitman inside 50. West gathers in the pocket. Handball away towards Sanders. He's tackled quickly. Wrapped up by Big Moo Cowan. And a ball up to come. Right forward pocket. Here for the Dogs. They lead it by 3 points.
Got to mark that Ugle-Hagan. Had the smaller defender in Adam Sard.
English palms it down. Walsh collects. Jams it on the boot. Only as far as Dale. Sockers it back inside 50. On the hop. Ollie Hollins collects. Sends it back out of the defensive 50. Leaping up Karmas. From the back, Mackay affects the mark close to the boundary line and Lob paddles it out. Going to be throwing 70 out for the Dogs' goal.
They look dangerous, don't they, the Dogs, when the ball hits the ground in that forward 50. We know that's how this Carlton team, that's probably the one weakness they've got.
It's something we've seen with Ugle-Hagan a bit. How have you seen he getting his hands to a lot of them, maybe not holding as many as you'd like?
Better today. Yeah, he's had a couple of quietish weeks with Norton back in the team, but I feel like today he's been involved a fair bit.
And it's easy. It's like, he's just got to soften his hands. But what does that mean? Like, it's, it could be just a simple technique thing for Ugle-Hagan when he is marking.
Stoppage high half forward for the Bulldogs as English knocks it down and collected by Lockie McNeil. He's tackled and will have a ball up. 52 out from the Dogs' goal. Waning moment, second term to Koning. Hooks it down to Bailey Williams, and that'll do us. So the lead has swung on the last 3 goals in the game. 6 lead changes in total. And at half-time, the undermanned Bulldogs, 7-9-51, lead the Blues 7-6-48. They came in already without the likes of Norton and Bailey Smith, obviously, for the year. There's no Liam Jones, who's held it down back for them all season long. And then they lost Adam Treloar in the warm-up with a calf injury. And despite all that, they lead the highly fancy Blues by 3 points at half-time. Carlton have their own problems on the injury front. Zach Williams pinging a string in that second quarter. He's been subbed out of the game early, so Zach Williams' day is done. The Western Bulldogs 7-9-51, Carlton a 7-6-48. The goal kickers to half-time for the Dogs. They have 7 different goal kickers. All of their 7 goals came in that quarter alone. And given the fact that they were 0-7 at quarter time, they kicked 7 goals 2 in that term to 4 goals 2 from the Blues. So the goal kickers down the page, 1 each for Ugle-Hagan, Waitman, Bontempelli, West, Poulter, Dale and Bailey Williams. While for Carlton, Harry Mackay's got 3, Matt Owies has 2, and then singles for Curnow and 1 for Cripps in that quarter to celebrate his 200th game. We were talking about Northampton a little bit earlier on. Some of their AFL products, including the likes of Patrick Cripps, of course, Paul Hazelby, Josh Kennedy, Harry Taylor, Jamie Cripps, Tarkin Lockyer, Andrew Lockyer, Liam Anthony, Daniel Chick, Bryn Teagle. So that's a growing list.
And Julia Teagle in the AFLW now as well. So it continues to grow. And if you drive through Northampton, they have statues of all of them as sort of the main attraction as part of the main strip there.
I thought sure the Paddy Cripps statue will be getting plenty of photos taken in front of it around this weekend as well, with his 200th game today here at Docklands. Half-time, Dogs by 3. Thoughts of Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
Well, I think Carlton got a decision to make in this second half. So Bailey Dale is clearly the best player on the ground. He's had 21 possessions, 442 metres gained and 1 goal won in a half of football playing across halfback. What's happening is Chincotta's starting with him, and Chincotta goes up to Bontempelli. Then Bailey Dale's running around without an opponent. So inside that centre square, mostly for Carlton, has been Adam Chera, Sam Walsh or Elijah Hollins. So one of those players after the bounce is responsible for Bailey Dale. Right at the moment, none of them are.
Yeah, you're spot on. I think it's probably nominally been Hollins, but I don't think he's a ball hunter, isn't he? I don't think he's.
Well, I think he's looking for his opportunity to play as a mid.
Yeah.
And it's so Carlton need to go. Okay, Chincotta, you go start on somebody else, somebody who maybe is less dangerous than what Bailey Dale is. So somebody then has a level of responsibility for him when he gets the ball. And the thing with his possessions today, they're all going forward, and they're piercing kicks, they're low flat kicks, and they're starting to move the Bulldogs' running game forward. The other part that I'm enjoying with the Bulldogs is that at ground level inside their forward 50, there's a lot of pressure. So, Riley West had a couple of shots at goal that half. Bontempelli threw a stoppage, then, gets tackled on the goal line and could have kicked a couple. So Ugle-Hagan and Darcy are really competing really well. Then the other end of the ground, I think the Rory Lobb matchup will be concerning for Luke Beveridge, but I think Karmas has done a pretty good job on Charlie Curnow. I don't think Carlton have utilised Tom De Koning enough down there yet. So initially when the game started, Tom De Koning was standing in the forward line and he had Nick Caulfield as his direct opponent. So Caulfield would have been giving up, 12 or 13 centimetres quite comfortably there. So maybe that's something that Carlton can look at in their second half. How can they find that mismatch inside their forward 50? But you look around the ground, and it's mostly one-on-one, but the only player that you do see free often, and I go back to it, is Bailey Dale. So everywhere else, it looks like a direct opponent ball.
Yeah, and Bontempelli's only had the 9 possessions. So, if you were to offer that to Michael Voss at the start of the game for half-time, he would take it. But it feels like he's had an impact on the game. And I think because the flip side to that is his opposite number, Paddy Cripps, now he kicked a brilliant goal that quarter, as did Marcus Bontempelli. But other than that, they've sort of nullified each other a little bit. Certainly it's been a fascinating and fierce contest around the ball. I think the Dogs really got back on top around the contested footy that quarter. I think they ended up plus 10 for the quarter. Just won some critical one-on-one balls through the middle of the ground that directly resulted in scores. So no midfield group or player is really on top. But you're right, what they've had to give up for that, for Chin Cotter having that matchup, is the Bailey Dale influence. So, yeah, it's going to be a fascinating battle as to see what they do from tactically from that point of view in the second half. You're right, Rammer. And, yeah, at times when Carlton have looked most dangerous, when Mackay's looked most dangerous forward, it's been from a turnover, a mid-arc turnover, where really most defences are going to struggle against this Carlton.
Well, he's too crafty for long.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so when the Bulldogs have been able to turn the ball over across halfway and attack to a more open forward line, Mackay's had his opportunities, and that has clearly looked like the best forward on the ground. So it's a fascinating contest. It's gone. It's momentums. It swings. Carlton have dialed up the pressure at times, and that's sort of looked. That's been their game really over the last 4 to 6 weeks. Credit to the Bulldogs, they've been able to withstand. And as I said, that quarter, I thought they won some more critical contests through the middle of the ground and forward of the ball. That's the key. Wiedering's intercept marks went out of it that quarter. I think he had 4 in the first quarter and looked dangerous early in that quarter, but then they were able to get him in a contest a bit more. And when they bring the ball to ground, when West gets involved and Waitman, of course, who's looked really dangerous at times, that's when and Vandermeer, that's when they've looked dangerous and looked like scoring the Bulldogs.
Thoughts of Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas to half-time. High stakes for both teams. If the Dogs lose today, there'll be 2 games outside the 8 with only 6 to play, so a lot to play for them. And if Carlton lose, they'll only be a game inside the 8, so it shows how tight it is for a team that was looking like they were a top 2 contender just a couple of weeks ago at half-time. The Blues with work to do. It's the Dogs by 3 points despite their mounting injury list at half-time. The Doggies 7-9-51, Carlton a 7-6-48. Earlier today, Hawthorn by 13 points over the Dockers, and it was Sydney by 79 points over North Melbourne. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment, and the third quarter, which isn't too far away. But first, the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News, good afternoon, I'm Sally Ann Young. The Russian embassy says the arrest of 2 people in Brisbane accused of spying for Moscow is an attempt by the government to launch a wave of anti-Russian paranoia in Australia. Here's Defence correspondent Andrew Green.
In a statement, the Russian embassy in Canberra says it's requested official written information from Australian authorities about the situation and status of married couple Kira and Igor Korolev, who are accused of stealing military secrets for the Kremlin. The embassy says it will consider appropriate measures of consular assistance to the Russian-born suspects who are now Australian citizens. Defence is expected to review its security vetting processes.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says his government has offered help to authorities in the Philippines as they hunt for a man suspected of killing 3 people, including an Australian couple, earlier this week. David Fisk and his partner, Lucinta Cortez, were just days away from returning to Australia after a 2-week holiday when they were found dead in a hotel room alongside Lucita's daughter-in-law. Mr Albanese says there is only so much his government can do as this is a police matter.
We have a presence in the Philippines and we have offered whatever assistance is required to the Filipino authorities. We work very closely with them.
The CFMEU says it will not be commenting on explosive claims made against it and Victorian Secretary John Setka until next week. The allegations in 9 newspapers claims criminals and bikies acting as CFMEU delegates have been employed on federal and state government-funded projects, including Victoria's $100 billion Big Build infrastructure program. The Victorian opposition is calling for a new watchdog to oversee the state's construction sector amid the allegations which come one day after Mr Setka announced his immediate resignation. Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party, David Southwick, says the allegations show a construction enforcement watchdog is needed.
Victorians are all paying for this kind of corruption in our workplaces, on our construction sites. And we all know that Labor's Big Build is a massive blowout.
In a statement released yesterday, John Setka said the allegations against him and the union are false. The state government has been approached for comment. 2 people have died in a house fire in Melbourne's east overnight. Mietta Adamans has the details.
Arson and explosives squad detectives are investigating the circumstances surrounding a house fire in Donvale last night. Emergency services arrived at around 4 o'clock this morning to Craig Road. Sadly, 2 people were in the home at the time and died at the scene. Their bodies were recovered from the house after the fire was extinguished, but are yet to be formally identified. The ABC understands 2 males lived at the property. An arson chemist and detectives are attending the scene this morning. Anyone with information is being urged to contact Crime Stoppers.
Fire and rescue crews have finished extinguishing a fire which destroyed a storage facility in Sydney South. Emergency services were called to the scene at Kirrawee at around 8 o'clock last night and worked through the night to contain the blaze. Investigations into the cause of the blaze will now commence. Overseas, US President Joe Biden has sharpened his criticism of Donald Trump as he attempts to reignite his election campaign in the state of Michigan. The BBC's Nada Tawfik reports.
Feeding off the energy of his supporters, Joe Biden delivered a gaffe-free and forceful defense for his candidacy. He insisted that he was going to win in November. He laid out his vision for a second term, restoring abortion rights, strengthening social programs, and fighting for working Americans. In contrast, he said Trump would be a threat to democracy. After a bruising few weeks, this was the boost his campaign needed. Joe Biden has made clear he isn't going anywhere, but his stamina and endurance will continue to be under a microscope for as long as he's in the race.
A judge in the US state of New Mexico has dismissed involuntary manslaughter charges against actor Alec Baldwin over the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Miss Hutchins died after being shot on the set of the film Rust in 2021. The dismissal comes after Mr. Baldwin's lawyers urged that police had hid evidence related to ammunition taken from the set of the film. Mr. Baldwin cried and embraced his lawyers as the decision was announced. You're up to date with the latest ABC News. For more news at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
The road to an Olympics or Paralympics is rarely straightforward. It's filled with pain, pressure and expectations.
The gold is always on my mind.
For me to go to the Olympics would be everything.
Being able to bring home the first ever gold for Australia would be a very, very proud moment for me.
ABC Sports documentary Countdown to Paris follows 5 Australian athletes in their quest to make it to Paris 2024.
I knew straight away that qualifying for Paris was what I wanted to do.
The desire to make an Olympics never goes away.
Countdown to Paris is available to watch now on ABC iView and the ABC News In-Depth channel on YouTube.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Here's Bontempelli with a special right on cue. Spin move at the stoppage and kicks a goal off his preferred left boot. And the Bont shows us what he's capable of again. Dogs win it back. Liberatore, hand pass to Dale. Sells the dummy. On the run. Bailey Dale. Signature goal from the halfback. Flushes through. Kicks it on the run.
Carlton leading by 3 points. They come away with it from the stoppage. Driving ball from Chincotta. And Mackay tumbling to ground. Takes the mark overhead. Harry Mackay wheels around and snaps the goal. He's got 3. Elijah Hollins picks it up. Kicks to Curnow. Attacking edge of the square. To Cripps. Breaks the 50 and kicks the goal. Captain Cripps. A moment to celebrate him.
As Zach Williams has just come to the Blues bench, he immediately grabbed for his hamstring just right near the interchange gate, straight off, and it looks like he's heading straight down the race with the doctors. It doesn't look good at all. I'll keep you updated. Zach Williams is done for the day. The sub will be made.
Off to De Koning. Left foot floated to half forward. Curnow there. Karma's right there with him. And a free kick. Going the way of Charlie Curnow. I think Buku Karma shares your sentiment. Curnow wheels and goes. He's a beautiful kick from range. Slots it. 5th lead change.
Hand pass to McNeil, heads inside 50. Target is Poulter. No free kick. Yes, he's getting one. Front on contact against Wiedering. Caleb Poulter, left peg against the boundary line. Pure finish. Straight through it goes. And the Bulldogs are back in front.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Sounds of an entertaining second term in which there were 5 lead changes in total, including the lead swinging on the last 3 goals in the game. At half-time, the Bulldogs by 3 points. Standalone twilight footy Saturday of round 18. The day so far, Hawthorn by 13 points over the Dockers. James Sicily kicking 3, including the last 3 goals of the game. The Hawks kicked collectively as a team, kicking the last 3 to overrun the Dockers. It means that Hawthorn are now just percentage outside of the top 8 as it sits at the moment, and a setback for the Dockers, who could potentially be bumped out of the top 4 by the end of the weekend. Meanwhile, the other game, which was played in Sydney, the Swans way too good for North Melbourne, 2018 to 9-5. So a 79-point victory for the Sydney Swans there, as Callum Mills and Luke Parker made their return. Big numbers for the midfielders, as you'd expect. So 41 touches for Goulden. Warner had 31 touches and kicked 2 goals, 3. And then 4 each for both Papley and Logan McDonald up front. A big win for the Swans. They currently sit 3 games clear on top of the table, and obviously a bit of that depends on what happens for the remainder of the weekend, including the Blues, who have work to do, trailing the Western Bulldogs by 3 points at half-time. Corbin Middlemass alongside Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball. Jess Webster's on the boundary. Concern out of the Carlton camp for Zach Williams, who hurt his hamstring during that quarter. And, of course, there's still 2 more games of footy to come tonight in South Australia. You'll be getting coverage of the Crows and the Saints. Of course, the Saints bouncing back to win here at this venue at Docklands last Sunday against the Swans. And Adelaide trying to get back in the winners list after their stumble against the Brisbane Lions. And, of course, at the MCG tonight, it is Melbourne and Essendon. The D's without Max Gawn. They haven't picked a recognised ruckman, so Harrison Petty and Van Rooyen to carry the load there up against the Bombers. If this result stays the same at Docklands and the Bombers win, dare I say it, Adam Ramanauskas, the Dons could potentially be second on the premiership table tonight.
Corbin, just
I think that's a cart, and it's just before the horse.
Oh, yes.
I reckon Tom McDonald probably plays ruck tonight, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure you throw Harrison Petty to the Wolves there, given you've invested both.
Probably more Van Rooyen has played.
Yeah, Van Rooyen and McDonald, I think, share it. Yeah, and Petty goes back. So that's what I would probably do.
Is it a danger game for the Bombers?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's enough quality in Melbourne's team. They've turned the corner a bit. We know that no Petrarca, but if it's a bit greasy underfoot, I think Melbourne bring it into a contested game where they tend to excel. So yeah, absolutely, danger game. And really, I mean, every game from here on in for Melbourne is almost a, dare I say it, 8-point game. So yeah, looking forward to that one tonight as well. Should be a beauty.
Big win for the Hawks down in Launceston.
Huge win, yeah. Last 3 goals of the game there by the Hawks. James Sicily moved forward and kicked a couple of goals there late. So
they don't lose down there, do they, Ram?
No. And the Dockers played well. Yep. They played really well. They took it up to the Hawks. So yeah, it's just the closeness of this season. So the Hawks, what would you say, Corbs? They just sit outside the under percentage at the moment.
Percentage is the thing, isn't it? They're going to have to win their way in. They can't rely on others. They're going to have to win their way in with that percentage.
Who starts favourite next week? Hawthorn, Collingwood.
I think Hawthorn. Yeah, on form. Toss the coin, but I think Hawthorn very much entitled to be just favoured.
Hawks were the only team last year that Collingwood didn't beat in their premiership.
Yeah, they do. They play well against the Pies too.
They beat every other side. Off the SMS, hello to Nick from Bendigo. Hope you're having a safe travels on the road. Driving 2 hours home from country footy. I need a good game to pass the time. So cheering for this game to deliver. It certainly has so far, despite the names that are missing for the Bulldogs. And Kev says, which is the northern end at Docklands Stadium? The northern end is the Coventry end. The Lockett end, which is to our left from our broadcast position, is the Lockett end. But still no signs. Gillen said before he left he was going to put the signs back up, and we haven't seen them.
Is it an east-west stadium? Is there technically no northern end? If we're looking straight ahead now from our commentary position, is that north, straight ahead?
I'd say that's more east.
Okay.
Or do you think it's sort of on a bit?
No, I've lost my bearings.
So I think we're on the western side. Okay. We've got the dock behind us. And that would be the city side, which would mean that would be east.
Would it?
I think so.
Is the city north of the bay?
We need the roof up. We can sit up and have a look. But I think that's at least how the geography in my mind, at least, how we're looking. Dogs by 3 points. Second half action fast approaching on ABC Sport. The SMS number 0437 774 774. We'd love to hear from you wherever you are and whatever you're up to. Hi team, good call. Go the doggies. Enjoying Rama and Luke's expert commentary. And I'm always learning. Rain coming now. Fran in Melbourne. She's not so sure about that, trying to get out of here with a little bit of rain. It's meant to be wet all week.
It's always nice to get some positive feedback, Paulie.
It is, right?
Yeah, it is.
As we always say. It's
appreciate it, Fran.
It's in short supply at home. It's certainly at my house, as we always say. So nice to come to the footy and get some.
I can't remember when I got a pat on the back at home last. Oh, jeez.
The Dogs 7-9-51 leading Carlton 7-6-48. Entertaining first half featuring 6 lead changes. The second half's upon us in Patrick Cripps' 200th game on ABC Sport. You're with Ben Cameron.
Restart in the middle and one down there by English. Going after it, Richards gets rid of it to Liberatore. Handball forward to Vandermeer. Turns and kicks inside 50. West spoils. Roves himself and snaps a goal. Mr. West. He's got a couple. Hot start from the Dogs. 8-9-57 plays 7-6-48. Less than 20 seconds into this second half. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
14 to be precise, Benny. Yeah, what's the record? I think not quite. Record 6 or 7, isn't it? Yeah, clear tap out, but all credit to Ed Richards there. Who laid the tackle and actually stripped Adam Chera of the footy. Quick hands to Liberatore, who did what he does. Vandermeer, I like that from Vandermeer too. Didn't try and muck around, just get the ball forward out of the centre. We know there's one-on-ones ahead of the ball, and Riley West doesn't have to touch the footy much, does he, to have an impact on the game, West? He's always lively in that front half for the Dogs, so perfect start to this second half for them.
And the record holder, Paulie,
is our man, isn't it?
Yeah, Brett Delidio kicked a ridiculous goal straight out of the centre bounce here.
At this ground? Yeah, down to the other end.
Yep. He'll be more than happy for us to bring it up, I'm sure, Lids. Dogs by 9
He'll
points.
tell the story again tomorrow.
Third term, there's a pack which forms alongside the centre circles, and we'll do it all again. How have you found Pitternet and De Koning, the two rucks going at it together?
Yeah, we chatted at half-time. Yeah. I think you're right. I think De Koning can probably have more of an impact forward.
Centre break here. Libba drives it forward, and Saab takes a one-hander at the back of the pack.
I just think it's an underrated part of his game, Adam Saad. He defends really well. We always see the attack, but he actually defends well.
Off and running, pursued by Waitman, goes with a long kick up to halfway. Karmas and Curnow caught in a little bit of a tangle. Ball spills out the Dogs' way. Bailey Williams
well done.
Keeps it alive. No, he didn't. He was out of room. Boundary throw-in on the wing, City side. So the last 2 years when they play together, De Koning and Pitternet, they're 9 wins, 10 losses. When just De Koning plays, they're 10 wins, 5 losses, so they win 2 out of 3. And when Pitternet plays solo, they're 2 wins, 5 losses.
Chera emerges with the footy from the stoppage, kicks inside 50, and Rory Lobb sliding out, defensive mark for the Dogs.
You might see the impact as the game goes on Tim English, who really is rucking pretty well one out with Rory Lobb stuck at full back. So
Sam Darcy needs to
chip in a little. He's been at a few contests. Yep, that's right.
Long kick up to the wing. Waitman gives it to Liberatore. Snaps on his right inside 50. Hugo Hagen attacking it. Sard knocks it away. Wiedering's there. He gathers it, just gets rid of it. Kick there smothered from Marchbank. And it ricochets down to ground level and will get a ball up. It was Marchbank's kick that was smothered. So a ball up about 30 out from the attacking goal here for the Dogs.
Bulldogs by 9 points early in the third term. They got a forward 50 stoppage. Waitman's got it. He's tackled, taken to ground, and a ball up again. Zach Williams with a hamstring injury in the second quarter, subbed out of the game. English, first hands on the footy, got it down to Waitman, kick smothered. Cottrell for the Blues, kicks it back to centre half back. Frazier collects, tackled, lost it. Blues win it again. Akers to Newman by hand. Hand pass to De Koning, handball out to Akers, has to wait for it. Now feeds it forward to Newman, wanting to try and get back on his left side. Pokes a kick inboard, and Chera marks. Still at half back for Carlton. The Bulldogs by 9 points, 3.5 gone third quarter.
Chera driving ball around the City wing to a contest. Cripps is there through his hands, gathers at ground level. Handball forward. Bramble getting back for the Dogs, knocks it away from Mackay. And out for a throw-in. Bulldogs by 9 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Keep your text coming. 0437 774 774. Umpire flings it back in. English punching it down. Doesn't clear the congestion. It spits out towards Bailey Williams. Dogs in possession, half-back flank. English to Richards. Off to Liberatore, all by hand. He'll kick up to the wing. And Waitman on a searching lead.
Still got that protective sleeve on his left arm after the elbow troubles that he's had. Cody Waitman took a nice mark and he's kicked 1 goal so far. Spears his kick down to half forward, turns it over. And Jordan Boyd with the intercept. Long sleeves on for the Blues. And puts it straight out on the full. It's a Bronx cheer from the Dogs fans, and the Dogs win it back in their front half.
Made a few Blues, Jordan Boyd, today by foot. Usually a beautiful kick of the footy.
Had that trouble with the corked calf a little earlier on that Jess told us about, so Dogs hurriedly back inside 50. Off the pack, Marchbank fly, spills down to Akers. Akers gets it back out towards half-back, and leaping up Newman marks. Gee, work to do for Carlton. The Dogs are giving them all they can handle. Bulldogs by 9 points early in the third.
Men pokes it short to Krebs in the middle. Kicks from centre half back to centre half forward. And Curnow takes it 47 metres out directly in front.
Straight down the guts, wasn't it?
Just that little kick. The little kick just opens the whole game up. Like the players, the teams that have courage to go back through the middle of the ground are usually the ones that get rewarded.
It's disappointing, though, from the Dogs. They had them hemmed in, to that forward pocket. And a quick kick out marked by Newman. Just left that corridor open, so that'll disappoint Luke Beveridge.
He's a beautiful long kick, a little stutter. Boots a ball from 55. Curnow tugs it. Away to the left, minor score. Bulldogs lead by 8 points, 6 minutes played. Third term, Saturday footy, ABC Sport.
Just got one on the SMS for you, Paulie.
This is great.
Just wondering if Paulie's attending the reunion tonight. Cheers, Swanee.
Dane from Paran. I think he's just arrived, mind you. He played footy today.
Right.
Port Colt, so he's a couple of hours behind me.
Swan FC.
He'll catch up. Swanee.
Oh, no problem there.
Kick out for the Blues is from the Dogs is coming back as Akers kicks to the hot spot, ripping it down. Fraser spills to Fogarty of Carlton though. Hand pass back to Fraser. Dogs with it. Handball towards fullback. Caulfield scoops it up. Dogs hemmed in under pressure. Gives it to Bramble. Hurried kick to halfback. Clean balls Walsh. Bowls Walsh. Picked up by the Carlton superstar. Got it out to Cottrell. Close to the boundary line. Dropped it on his boot. Trickles out of play.
Yeah.
The boundary throw-in is that new rule, and the correct disposal of it from Cottrell just to get the ball out however possible. Boundary throw-in here, half forward for the Blues. Chin Cotter right with Dale in this second half, so there's that change that you guys were looking for.
I think Kennedy's assuming responsibility for Bontempelli.
From the throw-in, neither ruck was able to touch it. Over the back it goes, and then Newman, he picks it up. He's tackled holding the ball. Free kick going to Poulter. He gets shoved over by Liberatore. A free kick to Poulter. Loops a handball out to Fraser. Running by. Chips it short for Bontempelli. Hard up against the boundary line. Kicks to half forward. And Sam Darcy with those long limbs takes the mark. Wheels and kicks long to Jamara.
That's great footy.
Beautiful. Yeah.
That is the Dogs at their best.
Well, that's how you want your two key forwards. You want one to take it 70 metres out, and you want the next one to mark it 20 metres out, albeit on a tight angle, but that's how you want your two key forwards to operate.
Deep left forward pocket. Had one just like this earlier. He snaps and misses narrow again. Same result as earlier on.
How good does Jamara look when he marks the ball at its highest
full
point?
Stretch.
Yeah. I said this last year. He sort of levitates through the air, doesn't he? It's like he just glides up into the air in slow motion and he's able to hang in the air.
Saad, short kick to Wiedering, and marks still at fullback.
How are you and Borley going, working out your direction?
Yeah, we got it.
Struggling.
No, we're on the same page. As Wiedering comes out wide to Mackay, marks at half-back.
Lost my bearings momentarily.
It is that kind of stadium, given it's all enclosed. It's like the casino. You don't know.
Short door.
Don't get that started.
Short door.
We could be here all night.
We get lost in the car park here.
Hollands kicks in the middle of the ground. Vandermeer gives it off towards Bailey Williams. Kicks into the forward pocket for the Dogs. Waitman taps it back inboard. Darcy collects. Hot hand pass goes back to Liberatore. He's under the pump. Cottrell tackles him. Taken to ground half forward for the Bulldogs. Dogs by 9 points. 9 minutes played, third term.
Las Vegas casinos, they pump pure oxygen in there. Keeps you up for a long, long time.
Left one out there, the Dogs. Cody Waitman had plenty of space. Just kick wasn't able to get to him.
They lead it by 9 points. Kennedy, half-back flank, dribbling a little kick towards Walsh. Can't gather first time, does second time. Into the awaiting arms of the Bontempelli tackle, holding the ball. Free kick to the Bont, half forward for the Dogs, towards full forward. Akers there. Good defensive mark. He does it at both ends, this man.
Does.
Playing that wing role for the Blues. Doggies still by 9 points, 9 minutes played, third term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Haven't been able to score, the Blues, in this quarter. 10 minutes without a goal.
Still had, what do they had? 3 inside 50s. Yeah, it's just that the ball's living just in the Dogs' forward half at the moment.
Short kick from Kemp to Wiedering, up against the boundary line, half-back, goes long down the broadcast wing, and Carlos takes an uncontested chest mark.
Game's exactly how they want it, the Dogs. Can they maintain the rage?
Western wing, dockside, comes inboard towards Bramble, outer edge of the centre square, kicks for Jamara, punched away from him, spills down to Sard, hot hand pass back into traffic. Waitman got it out to Vandermeer, hand pass to Ugelhagen, dispossessed. Ball comes to Darcy, he jams it on the boot, through traffic, time bounce.
Oh, no, hit the post.
Clipped the post. The Carlton players were already appealing that it was touched on the way through. They won't have to worry about that off the padding.
Oh, yeah.
And a behind for the Bulldogs. They lead by 10 points, 8-11 to 7-7. 11 minutes gone, third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Very similar to the first quarter. So Sard 5 possessions, Newman 3, Wiedering 3, Blake Acres, who's pushed down really hard as a winger, 5 possessions. So Carlton have got to find a way to pierce through here.
Sard short to Kennedy, who chips it towards Cowan, gives it back to the run of Sard. Through the middle of the ground he goes on his right. Tumble punt, lands in the lap of Cripps, who bounces to his feet. Attacking edge of the square, kicks to full forward. Curnow drifts across to Mark. Mackay was in a wrestle with Lobb, and Curnow just came over and took it 20 out directly in front. He's going to go the snap.
Yeah, gee.
He'll lark out and hook it through. It's a Curnow couple. And it cuts the deficit for the Blues back to 4 points. 8-7-55 Carlton. The Western Bulldogs 8-11-59, 11 and a half into this third term. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanaskas, Luke Ball.
And it's just Adam Sard, the courage to, on the kick out, then to take the ball through the middle of the ground. Albeit it's a right foot kick and it's a scrubber kick, but it goes to Paddy Cripps. Paddy Cripps on, takes the ball, and he can go either way, inside forward 50. Curnow loses Karmas and takes an easy mark. But prior to that, the Bulldogs had him locked in their forward half of the ground. It was making them go sideways and forcing turnover. That time when one player in Adam Sard has the courage to go through the middle of the ground, they're able to score.
Umpire whacks it back down in the middle of Docklands. Bounce favours Darcy, palms it down to Richards for the Bulldogs. Hand pass forward to Bontempelli in a tangle with Kennedy. Knocks back inboard, Cripps kicking in danger. Hand on the footy from Darcy and he'll be rewarded.
Please.
Darcy by hand. Gives it off to Fraser, the teenager. Kicks to full forward. Waitman leaps up, punched away by Marchbank. Offhand spills to Jamar, he's coat hanging. In a loose tackle by Newman and a free kick for Ugelhagen. Right half forward, he'll kick from 30 out.
Yeah, that was there.
Yeah, poor tackle, loose tackle.
As he's getting his head stitched back on.
Sometimes as a player, you just got to put your hand up. Yeah, no, I got that one wrong.
So Jamari Ugelhagen, his day so far, he had one set shot which fell short. He's had really 5 shots at goal, one that didn't score. He's kicked 1 goal, 3.
Close.
He moves in here, left-footed drop punt is good. And the underdog is barking. The Bulldogs by 10 points. 13 gone in the third term. Without Norton, without Smith, without Jones, losing Treloar in the warm-up. And yet they're giving the Blues all they can handle. 13 gone in the third. The Doggies 9-11-65. Carlton 8-7-55. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Rama and Bally.
You can just feel him growing in confidence, can't you? As that number one man, he realises with Darcy in the ruck there, winning the centre clearance, which was terrific. All of a sudden, the responsibility falls onto Jamara, and you just get the sense that he enjoys it, Rama. Yep. And he's been terrific. I think Cody Waitman deserves some credit there. It looked like courage. Great courage, just to force a contest. It looked like Brody Kemp was going to come out and take an uncontested mark. And we've been saying all night, haven't we? Bring the ball to ground. That's where you really test this Carlton defence, and that's where Waitman and Ugelhagen himself has looked dangerous when the ball's been on the ground in forward 50.
Back in the middle, Darcy in the ruck for the Dogs. Bounce favours him, takes it out, gives it to Sanders. He'll kick a high ball inside the arc. Kemp comes over, marks defensively for the Blues. Free kick going to Wiedering, in fact. So he hands it over. Wiedering with the free kick. Goes sideways, out to De Koning. A surfy-looking ruckman with the kick up to the wing, out in front of Marchbank. Bouncing ball, right there with him, Darcy. Darcy applies the tackle. Marchbank nowhere to go, gets a handball away, bounces off Bramble. And West takes it out. So throw in coming up, out on the City wing.
Had to go on a little surfing ban during the Gold Coast hub. Took his surfboard up there, and the coach said, mate, surfing a little too often. And they had to just restrict his minutes. And Tom De Koning wins the hit out here down towards Sanders of the Bulldogs. Hand pass out to Bontempelli. Feeds it forward to Richards. They're out again, the Dogs. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Finds Ugle-Hagan. They're all streaming forward downhill. Ugle-Hagan for Waitman. Knocked away from him. Great spoil. Knocked down by Cowan. Straight to Poulter, who snaps goalward but misses far side.
That was Cowan.
Lockie Cowan with a critical touch. Got the spoil in there to stop the certain look from Waitman in front of goal. 11-point lead for the Bulldogs, and they're running on top of the ground halfway through the third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Jordan Boyd with the kick in. Ambles away and drives it as long as he can. Over the head of Lobban Mackay at the back. Fraser picks it up. Handball to the Blues though. Ollie Hollands, handball away towards Kennedy. Elijah Hollands rather to Kennedy, and then a ball up. Doggies by 11 points. Nearly 16 played in the third. Darcy tapping it down in the direction of Poulter, but the Blues are there. Getting involved Newman. He's stripped of it. McRae comes away with it for the Dogs. Pokes it inside 50. Wiedering the spoil. Brings it down. Poulter there. Attacking arc here for the Dogs. Walsh just gets a kick away. Ollie Hollands back feeds it away to Cowan. And then for the Blues, Wiedering waits a kick neatly for Newman. Half-back flank. Dogs by 11.
45 kicks a good one, finds Ollie Hollands, hand pass away towards Walsh. Walsh kicks hurriedly to half forward, Karmas in the box seat and outmarks Kerno. He's had a good day, Buku Karmas.
Terrific, it's been a good battle. He's getting at 50 here too. I think Chincotta ran through the protected area.
Oh no.
Got to get his skates on here, Karmas. Didn't realise quite what's going on. Give him the ball.
Stock. It's his own teammate, Duray. Taking forever to give the footy back to Karmas, and now the forward 50 for the Dogs is filled up. Flying through on the run is Dale, collects it, kicks into the forward pocket.
Poor play.
Waitman was the target, and Wiedering drops in front of him. Waitman's getting a free. Free kick, Waitman. After the initial tangle there with Newman, somehow got a free kick.
Newman didn't have any eyes for the football, and he saw Wiedering coming across. But I don't have too much of an issue with that call.
Yeah. Carlton, that is a poor free kick to give away.
Yeah.
The Blues had a 3-on-1. Wiedering was dropping in front of Waitman, and Newman gives away the free for blocking Waitman. Waitman to cash it in, snaps goalward, misses near side. Gee, it feels like the Dogs should be 4 or 5 goals up. They lead by 12 points, 17 and a half gone in the third term. Heavy underdog coming in. And the Bulldogs lead the Blues by 12, who look flat-footed. It's the Bulldogs 9-13-67, Carlton 8-7-55, 18 minutes past in the third term.
He breathes a sigh of relief. Nick Newman, that would have been 2 free kicks against for goals.
Long kick in up to the wing. Massive pack forms. Poked forward by Chera for the Blues. Duray there for the Dogs. Gives it to Ugle-Hagan. Ollie Hollands corralling him. Handball back to Duray. Tackled by Cottrell. And held just in play. Ball up.
Right on by Hollands there. Ugle-Hagan should have got that on the boot or given a handball. Dogs should be back inside forward 50.
They lead it by 12 points. Could easily be more, as Corbin said. English flicking it down, but De Koning, his opposite ruckman, coming away with it. Coughs it up to Gallagher. Now it's a live footy on the wing. Duray makes it his, tackled by Cripps. And in game 200, adds a tackle to his stat line.
Hot footy in there, isn't it, Rama, at the moment? You can just sense the Blues feeling they need to lift a bit here.
18 minutes into the third, Dogs by 2 goals. Leaping up to Koning, left it behind. English kicks down to half forward, and Wiedering runs out with help from McNeil and McRae.
So Bailey Dale had the 21 possessions in the first quarter and a goal. He's had only 2 this quarter. We're almost 20 minutes into this third quarter.
Chincotta just hanging out on his shoulder.
Doing a good job. So he's sort of looking for a lift from Bont, but the Bont's only had 3 this quarter.
Dual rolls Chincotta in that first half didn't work. He's just got Dale to worry about in this third quarter. Hurried kick forward from the Blues. Picked off, though, McRae for the Dogs. Hand pass to Poulter. Kicks wide. Wants Cody Waitman. 1 bounce out of play. In front of he and Boyd. And a boundary throw in half forward for the Bulldogs. Doggies by 12 points. 19 gone third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Jess Webster on the boundary, Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron. Adam Rabanaskas and Luke Ball, your premiership pair on ABC Sport.
The Koning in English. English gets there first, takes it out of the ruck, was taken down in the De Koning tackle. Sard able to clear with a kick to the wing. Bouncing ball, Elijah Hollands, handball to no one. Sanders will make it his. Dogs in possession, Juray's kick. It goes straight up and down and just the bare 15. Newman there for the Blues. Defensive point of the square, sends his kick out to the wing and it will tumble out. The umpire, throw it in. Didn't get up to top speed.
Skill error.
Yeah. Shanked it, but was nervous still.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. It should never be.
Doggies lead it by 12. Time on in this third term.
It is not looking like a Carlton kind of game, and yet they're only 12 points behind with all their scoring power. Pitternet palms it down to Poulter. He's tackled and a ball up on the wing. Still 7 minutes on the game clock before three-quarter time. Fascinating game of footy. The depleted Dogs lead by 12 points. Pitternet as he's jumped the target, advantage applied. Ollie Hollands releases Walsh. Hand pass to his mate Cripps. He could get it back. Gives it to Chincotta instead. Back to Walsh. Runs a tight angle for the block and he hits the post. Snapping outside of the right boot and behind for Carlton. They've struggled to move the ball, trying to capitalise on the free kick there, but just one more to the score. Dogs by 11 points.
And they get it moving quickly. Dale to Juray, kick to the logo, intercepted there by Wiedering. Carlton in possession, short kick to Fogarty, attacking edge of the square, kick smothered on the mark by English. Ricochets back to Fogarty, Darcy tackles him and holding the ball.
Got it beautifully there, Sam Darcy.
Woo. Big play, Tim English with the smother, the two big men for the Dogs.
Got a lot of aggression in him, Sam Darcy.
Yeah, got him sweet, didn't he? Kicks out wide to Poulter. Doggies by 11, 21 played third term.
Poulter, the left footer along the boundary line, finds English, marks, moves it immediately on to Richards. Wants to step around, Newman shakes the tackle, 52 metres out, Richards to the goal square, Bailey Williams down there, no mark, hits the deck, Carlton with numbers, Akers left it behind, scrap on for the footy, 20 out from goal, Sard got it out, away to Walsh, hand pass for Carlton to Fogarty, at centre half back, kicks long to Curnow, outnumbered, Curnow hands to it, juggled mark. Curnow's got it 70 from home. Open goal square. Curnow the Colossus from long range. It just runs the wrong side of the post. Cripps was tearing back with Juray to the goal square. The ball beat the pair, but the wrong side of the stick for the Blues. Dogs by 10 points, 22 travelled third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Juray with the kick-in duties. Now for a little run. Runs his full measure. Long kick in the Darcy direction. Hands to it, brings it to ground. Blues there. Walsh picks it up. Handball over the top. Sanders gets to it. Tackled strongly. Elijah Hollands taking him to ground. All up on the attacking arc for the Blues, just with their turn of momentum at the moment, Carlton.
Dog season really depends a lot on how this afternoon goes. It'll make it extremely tough if they drop this game. They've taken care of business thus far. Cripps away to Ollie Hollands. Kicks to the hot spot. No mark. Spills down the Dogs' way. English to Juray. Handball to Libber. Off the back flank. Waitman with a step ladder. Climbs up there. Couldn't come down with it. And gives away the free. Put his studs right in the back of Wiedering.
That looks set up perfectly for Cody Waitman. First quarter took a great hanger.
Doesn't often misjudge them, does he? Jacob Wiedering, if he's got a bit of a sore back already, that'll... he looks ginger, doesn't he? He actually has looked a bit ginger all game today.
Yeah, it's still the effects of the corky.
Yeah. It was a pretty severe corked quad that he got last week in Sydney. But he had the...
But that was from a couple of weeks ago as well. He got the cork.
Had the studs from Waitman there halfway up his spine, so it goes back to Kemp. Kemp long kick to half forward. Newman's got to go in the air. No mark. Hits the deck. Elijah Hollands onto it. 52 metres out. Kicks the Blues to full forward. Curnow down there. Out position by Karmas, and the ball travels through for a behind. You can mark it down off the boot of Elijah Hollands. Dogs by 9 points. 24 minutes played third term Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
And they are waiting for three-quarter time here, the Dogs. Trying to get through to it. Haley Dale with the kick in. Looks like he's tempted to go up the middle. He does. Driving ball in the English direction. Plucks it. Good mark from the Bulldogs. Ruckman handball errant. Free kick going to Ollie Hollands. Blues back in possession. Half forward Cripps. Left foot kick, trying to find a marker inside 50. Bailey Dale gathers, spins out of one tackle, can't get past Chincotta. Umpire says holding it. The Dogs are about to run away with it.
Handballed it. Nah. It's just Chincotta's sort of spoiled the handball, really.
Well, the ball... Yeah, no, that's it. Oh, gosh.
It's not holding the ball, is it?
I don't think that's holding the ball.
Looked like a clean handball, but still, it was almost... He got it out of his hands before Chincotta affected the tackle.
Yeah.
Here come the Navy Blues. Chincotta goals. It's back to 3 points again. And it's getting nervous for the Bulldogs. 9-13-67 plays, 9-10-64. 25 played in the third. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, we'll debate the free kick. Remember, you come back here to Tim English here at half forward. I mean, it was a brave kick, and you mentioned it. They look a bit for a lot of players do late in this third quarter now. Sometimes you just got to read the game a bit, or if you're going to handball it, make sure of it. Put it on your teammate's chest. It was just a really sloppy handball to Ed Richards, which forced a turnover in the inside 50 entry from Carlton.
I reckon
Bailey Dale wins the footy, shrugs one tackle. No question about prior opportunity. It's just whether he got a handball or whether he was tackled effectively that meant that he didn't dispose of the ball. So 50-51 there that goes the Blues' way, but poor decision from Tim English across half-back.
Dogs by 3 points at the restart. Libba releases the footy to Richards, hands it to West. Oh, that's a quick reply. The son of the West pops it through. A third for Riley. And the Dogs restore a 9-point buffer. And that took all of about 10 seconds. So the Dogs move to 10-13-73. Carlton a 9-10-64. And for all their work to try and fight back Carlton, that puts it back beyond a kick again. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanaskas, Luke Ball.
Well, they worked Carlton 14 minutes to kick their neck. They kicked their first goal at the 11-minute mark and their next goal at the 25th minute mark. So 14 minutes they worked Carlton, then the Dogs are able to answer back within just the next centre clearance. So terrific play.
Great finish.
Yeah, it's a good finish with Riley West. He's turning into a really good footballer for the Dogs. He's got speed, he's aggressive, he kicks goals, and he gets excited.
Libba was superb too. Yeah, strong. And the Cripps tackle just to get his hands free.
Hitting at the tap from the restart. Cripps under pressure can only soccer it forward. Picking it up on the wing, Akers for the Blues. Handball away to Elijah Hollins. Under the pump, the Dogs surround him. Ball upcoming.
Off the SMS, shout out to Jen and Jane who are listening in London before going to the tennis.
Oh,
go the Blues. Of course, the women's final tonight.
How good.
Yeah, how good's Wimbledon? As McRae with the clearing kick up towards half forward. Waitman inside. Out the back it goes. Ugle-Hagan gathers it. Handball over his shoulder for Waitman. He'll kick down towards full forward. Looking for a marker. Vandermeer can't take it. And it tumbles off his back out of play. Throw in left forward pocket here for the Dogs. They lead it by 9 points.
It's been a great matchup, the Sard-Waitman matchup. Two terrific one-on-one players, as you said, Rammer. If they can get one here, the Dogs, some real pressure goes on with the Blues.
Currently 9 points. The Bulldogs lead right on the stroke at three-quarter time. English palms it down. Here's Waitman, knocks it away towards Marchbank, who just clears the danger area out to half-back. Lob punches it back towards the 50 for the Bulldogs. Bontempelli throws his boot at it. Pack forms behind him and will have a ball up as Walsh is locked up. Right on the attacking 50 for the Bulldogs. 28 gone, third quarter. Doggies by 9 points.
English and Pittonet, neither decisive. Getting involved, Liberatore, as you'd expect. Handball out towards English. Spills to Chera for Carlton. Handball away to Newman. Shovels it over the top. Bontempelli gathers on the wing. Twists and turns. Kicks long inside 50. Waitman goes up out the back. Wiedering there to clear for the Blues. High ball still inside the arc. Touched off hands. McRae gathers. Gives it off to Ugle-Hagan. This would be miraculous. Getting back. Cottrell on the last line. It was nearly the Chinana. Double bending snap, and in the end, back on the last line, it was touched through.
I've told you, that's never going to stick, the Chinana.
I didn't invent it. Luke Bruce came up.
Yeah, but you're trying to push it out into the general public.
Yeah. As Sard goes to the back pocket for Newman. He goes long out to half-back. To Coney. Claiming the juggled mark. Hump says keep rolling. Hand pass inside to Walsh. Spun around. Got a hand pass away to Fogarty. High up and under. Up the wing. Curnow in the pack as he's Pitternet got hands to it, no mark. Ball hits the deck. Duray, hand pass out for the Dogs, straight to Elijah Hollands. Gives it to Pitternet, kicks forward. Ricochets out towards Chera. Hand pass to Curnow. Handball to Wakers, right on the 50. Threads it through to Fogarty. Fogarty, short kick. Elijah Hollands marks. Cops some contact from Karmas as he does so. He's got it 30 metres out, right half forward. Wasn't always pretty, but they kept it moving forward, the Blues, and it results in a shot at goal.
And Bevo storms out of the box. A couple of times, Carlton, they've been let off the hook, and their ability to be able to transition the ball from their back half quickly to a set shot at goal deep in their forward 50 will really disappoint Luke. They worked so hard, haven't they, to control field position, to lock Carlton into their front half, but too many times there the ball's just been able to come free.
Blues,
result in a shot on goal.
Blues have been outplayed for fair stages of the day, and yet they're less than a kick down. On the stroke of three-quarter time, Elijah Hollands goals, and the Bulldogs' lead is just 4 points. Carlton 10-10-70. The Bulldogs are 10-14-74. The Dogs by 4 points, half-hour mark, third term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, and I really like Blake Acres there. So a little handball from Charlie Kent. Then he just dodges and weaves three of the Bulldogs players. And then just the real heads-up play there by Fogarty to find Elijah Hollands. And you sometimes feel pressure late in the quarter. They just get it on your boot. But it had the composure there. Just a little chip kick. Find Elijah Hollands and kicks the goal.
Sam Walsh's ability to stand up in a tackle here across half-back. Looked like they were hemmed in, didn't it? That released the play and resulted in the forward 50 entry. Big play here.
Blues have not kicked back-to-back goals since halfway through the second term.
Really shown this year, Elijah Hollands' way. He was pick 7 back in 2020 as secondary ball up in the middle. Trying to emerge with it quickly was Kennedy. Up it goes. Pitternet just laying it down at his own feet. Liberatore manages to get it out towards Bontempelli, but it bobbles away towards Acres. He gives it to Pitternet, kicks the Blues to the wing. Bouncing ball on the logo. Attacking it, Fraser wins it. And then kicks towards half forward. Bouncing ball, Vandermeer can't trap it. Duray knocks it on. Vandermeer paddles it this time. Cleverly out in front of Duray. Vandermeer gets it back. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Looking for a marker. Spills out to McNeil. Off to Ugle-Hagan. Right foot snap. He's good. Third for Jamara. And the Dogs continue to have the answers. They're out by 10 points again. 11-14-80 plays 10-10-70. 32 minutes into this third term. Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball.
Well, they just worked. It was just work and just pushing the ball forward there, really, for the Bulldogs. It looked like Carlton had them covered in terms of their defensive structure, but there's a few Bulldogs involved there. I like the little play of Frieger just coming off the half-back line to create, but then getting the ball from Vandermeer into that dangerous spot.
Yeah.
It just puts defenders under pressure. Jamara there just too good at ground level.
Nice little handball from Lockie McNeil. Goal assists.
Clean like Lockie Neal, wasn't he, on that occasion?
Dogs by 10 points, closing in on three-quarter time. In the middle of the ground, Pitternet kicks out to half forward, and that'll do us. So the Dogs, after a seesawing second term in which we had 5 lead changes, the Dogs led by 3 at half-time, and they kept that advantage the whole way through the third term and have extended it to 10 points at three-quarter time. The Bulldogs 11-14-80. They lead Carlton 10-10-70. A fascinating game of footy. The Dogs undermanned, Treloar missing in the warm-up. There's no Norton, there's no Jones, and of course Bailey Smith out for the year, along with O'Donnell and Harms and Gardner and a bunch of others. And yet, despite all the missing Dogs, they're on top by 10 points against the power of the Blues. The goal kickers through three quarters. Jamara Ugle-Hagan has 3. He's had a heap of looks up front. He started a little wayward, but he's got his kicking boots on now. So if you look at the day so far for Ugle-Hagan, he's got 3 goals, 3, and 1 which didn't score at all. Singles for Waitman, Bontempelli, West, Poulter, Dale, and Bailey Williams. In fact, I think West has 2. He does, my apologies. 2 for Riley West. Meanwhile, for Carlton, 3 for Mackay, 2 for Curnow, 2 for Owies, and then singles for Cripps, Elijah Hollands, and Chincotta. The thoughts about Ramanauskas and Luke Ball coming up. Fascinating game of footy under the lid at Docklands at 3/4 time. It's the Bulldogs by 10 points. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
G'day, Patrick Stack here from ABC Sport Daily. If you love sport...
And the thing is with Novak, you don't want to give him any extra motivation, and maybe the Wimbledon crowd has given him just that.
And great conversation.
Anyone who's played will know that there's always rumours about what the other team's getting and what the strong clubs can afford to pay.
Then you'll love ABC Sport Daily.
I've got to eat humble pie and say, well done, Gareth. Congratulations. Now go and win it.
ABC Sport Daily. Get it on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Handball forward to Vandermeer, turns and kicks inside 50. West spoils, roves himself and snaps a goal. Mr. West. He's got a couple. Hot start from the Dogs. Lands in the lap of Cripps, who bounces to his feet. Attacking edge of the square, kicks to full forward. Curnow drifts across to Mark. He'll lark out and hook it through. It's a Curnow couple.
Gives it off to Fraser, the teenager, kicks to full forward. Waitman leaps up, punched away by Marchbank. Offhand spills to Jamari's coat hanger. And a loose tackle by Newman and a free kick for Ugelhagen. He moves in here, left-footed drop punt is good. And the underdog is barking.
Bailey Dale gathers, spins out of one tackle. Can't get past Chincotta. Umpire says, holding it. Here come the Navy Blues. Chincotta goals.
Dogs by 3 points in the restart. Liver releases the footy to Richards. Hands it to West. Oh, that's a quick reply. The son of the West pops it through. A third for Riley. Handball to Wakers. Right on the 50. Threads it through to Fogarty. Fogarty's short kick. Elijah Hollands marks. Blues have been outplayed for fair stages of the day, and yet they're less than a kick down. On the stroke of 3/4 time, Elijah Hollands goals.
Looking for a marker. Spills out to McNeil. Off to Ugelhagen. Right foot snap is good. Third for Jamara. And the Dogs continue to have the answers.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Goal for goal the whole way through that third quarter at 3/4 time. It is the Dogs by 10 points. 2 games tonight in Adelaide. It is the Crows and the Saints, but for much of the network, Melbourne and Essendon at the MCG. Matt Clinch heading up the call. Clinchy.
Corby, a big Saturday night at the MCG as 2 finals contenders face off. It's no doubt bigger for Melbourne, who are outside the 8 and battling injuries with a massive test without 2 of their most important players, Christian Petrarca and now captain Matt Scorn, meaning Simon Goodwin has gone to Harrison Petty to replace the All-Australian ruck following their 54-point win over the West Coast Eagles last week. The rampaging Bombers are looking to legitimise their top forward chances, a 12-point win over the Magpies last week. Just the one change for Brad's Bombers, with Dyson Heppel playing 251st game in defence, swapping with Jaden Laverty. No late changes. Tajwa Woden and Nick Hine the sub. Bit of rain around Melbourne. That's going to clear throughout the night, but a cool 11 degrees. The helmeted warrior, Nathan Burke, and the man who made big shorts cool, Daniel Harford, alongside myself, Lauren Borden, and Rory Campbell down on the boundary tonight. And Cozzy Pickett, Corby, one of my favourite players, brings up game 100. So the Demons have won 5 of the last 7 against the Bombers. How are the confidence levels are you feeling amongst the Bombers tonight?
Danger game, Clinchy, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, easy on the rampaging, Clinchy.
All the best tonight. Yeah, absolutely. All the best, Clinchy. Good luck with the call at the MCG to follow. No late change in Adelaide as well for the Crows and the Saints. Riley Thilthorpe is going to be the sub on his return, and Ben Patton is the sub for St Kilda. The game here is on the line. We've got a quarter to decide it. The Dogs by 10 points. Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball.
Sure is, Corby. Yeah, we've got a big 30 minutes here before we worry about tonight's games. And, I mean, the Dogs are superb that quarter, Rama. They really just controlled the game, and really the only issue was, and we spoke about it a few times, you know, at times there was some risk. I mean, Saad taking the game on, but Carlton's ability to get the ball forward at times and score from their back half. They kicked 3 goals, 4 from 10. They only had 10 entries for the quarter against the Dogs 20. So both coaching staff will be a little bit concerned about the ease with which either team are scoring. So if the Bulldogs scored 4 goals, 5, probably left a few out there too. So they had 20 entries to 10, only scored 4 goals to 3. So you could argue that they didn't quite capitalise on their dominance that quarter. And they certainly had the answers though. So, I mean, this is going to be a fascinating last quarter. You think, you know, the midfield's going to clearly play a massive part in in who goes on to win it. You look down, I mean, Cripps goes in there. It's been okay today. It's been an almost game. Thought Walsh got going that quarter. He had the 9 possessions. But everyone else really's been, pretty well subdued. And then, Bontempelli, on the other hand, had a reasonably quiet game as well. So, fascinating last quarter. So much at stake for both teams, really.
The thoughts of Luke Ball. The Western Bulldogs lead by 10 points. What can the Blues muster? Pitnet takes it out of the ruck. Turns it over with a quick kick. Straight to Bailey Dale. He stabs it into the middle for the Dogs. Richards might have been off. He was. Gives it by a hand to Duray, who looks lateral. Kicks out to the wing. English accepts it.
Just hold it up here. You feel like they've missed a trick.
Goes short. Coming back infield for the redhead Richards again. Veers out to his left. Long kick to full forward. Looking for a marker down there. Wiedering swats it away. Into the pocket. Bouncing ball. Vandermeer in pursuit. Bramble 2. Bramble knocks it back towards Vandermeer. Now it's in the pocket. Loose for the Blues. Akers picks it up. Wrenched down in the West tackle. Holding the ball. The umpire went the full sell.
Well, yeah, that's it again. So when the umpire sees an arm free, that's considered now prior opportunity. Simple. So, Blake Akers there is getting turned in a circle. I find it hard to believe how you're supposed to kick the ball. It's if you're stationary and you've got an arm pin, yep, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic tackle.
Yeah.
It needs to be, but he didn't have prior opportunity. No. So that's clearly a new interpretation, and they've been consistent at paying it at least today.
Very wide out, right half forward. His shot is across the face and marked.
Oh, I'll have a look at this one.
Down on the goal line by Darcy. He's juggled it, I think, a little bit.
Second grab, I think, here, Benny. The first grab was clearly in play.
Well, Mark Pitnet better hope that he has juggled across the line. No, I think that's fine.
We're having a look.
What was the soft call, Benny?
I didn't see the soft call. No, he's marked that.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Mark Pitnet standing 5 metres away looking at it happen while Brodie Kemp competes one out with Sam Darcy on the goal line.
So Darcy will have it in the pocket.
Just got to think his way. He's only got to kick it 5 metres here. Just got to think his way through it. Take his time.
For the perfect start to the fourth. He hooks it through. The red, white and blue chipper does it again. Bulldogs lead by 16 points. 12-14-86 plays 10-10-70. And the Blues under the pump 2.5 minutes into the final term.
Well, it becomes now catch us if you can. So, first goal of this last quarter by the Dogs, 2.5 minutes in, 16-point lead now. You'd assume the Dogs are going to kick at least 2 more goals within this quarter. So Carlton are going to have to effectively kick 5 goals in this quarter to win the game. So it's sort of getting to the point now where most decisions from Carlton have to be all attacking decisions. So it's going to be it's a big mountain. I know they kick goals quickly in AFL football these days, but 5 goals in the last quarter will be a big result.
Dogs in the 8 on the live ladder, and Carlton only a game clear inside the top 8 as it sits at the moment. Dogs going forward again. English to Richards to Jamara, all by hand. The link up to the Bont. He misses. Shooting from 40 out under pressure or behind. Gee, 1 goal feels like it'll just about break it. 12-15 to 10-10. Dogs by 17 points. 3.5 minutes played, final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, and by my count, this is the biggest margin of the game. So 17 points, the Dogs lead in the final term.
Sada short kick in for Kennedy. Left back pocket. Kennedy will look long to the wing. Heads in the Curnow direction. Comes up late, gets a hand to it. Doesn't take the mark. Pitnet bends over to pick it up. Off to Walsh. He'll keep the Blues moving forward. Tumbling kick. Mark taken by Caulfield for the Dogs. Sweeping handball back in their defensive arc. Lob. He'll kick dangerously and turn it over. Ollie Hollands drops the mark. Goes again at ground level. The Dogs come to try and sort it out. Bontempelli, one of those. And he's good enough to force a ball up. Centre half forward for the Blues. Dogs by 17. 4.5 into the fourth.
Nervous moments for the Blues. Takoning hooks it down behind. Carlton win it through Elijah Hollands, puts him inside 50. Ball hits the deck. Karmas comes out to meet it. Hand pass away to Dale. Handball turnover. Picked up by Akers, 52 metres out. High bomb on the head of Mackay. He's outnumbered and outmarked as Lobb stands in front of him and takes the intercept grab for the Dogs. Bulldogs by 17 points. They've kicked the last 2 in the game. We had 6 lead changes in the first half, and the Dogs have led the entirety of this second half so far. We've travelled 5 minutes into the final term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Bramble goes short to Bailey Williams. Long kick to the wing. Wiedering hands to it, spills out the back. Suits the Bulldogs. Ugle-Hagan onto it. Long kick, and West is out the back. Marks 25 out, 45-degree angle in the right forward pocket.
That's a 55-metre right foot kick by Ugle-Hagan.
Non-preferred.
Yeah, terrific.
He's been superb, Ugle-Hagan, after quarter time.
It's worked. It's the blueprint for him.
Wow.
He works hard. You know, his athleticism will get him over the line. It's very similar to Charlie Curnow up the other end. You can't just rely on pure athleticism. You've got to rely on your work rate.
Has he worked hard today, Charlie?
Not as hard as I've seen.
West on the drop. Punt is sneaking it through. 4 for him. And the Dogs say, catch us if you can. They lead by 23 points. 13-15, 93. Plays 10-10-70. 6 minutes into the fourth term. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball, on Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
And I say that, Claude, because clearly Charlie Curnow is a more talented player than Bookie Karmas. Karmas has done a good job today.
No doubt.
But in saying that, I haven't seen Charlie go on those searching 70-metre leads up to a wing, then double back and get back to the goal square and just simply outwork his opponent. Whereas, as Paulie mentioned, after quarter time, that's exactly what Ugle-Hagan has done.
Well, you feel like, I mean, especially with the double ruck, they could afford to play Curnow on the wing at times. You know,
right.
Get up and get after the footy. Play that Jeremy Cameron type role with the double ruck. I mean, the sub, the hand's been forced with the sub, so they're going to have to stick with the double ruck, but you'd have to say that hasn't quite been used as effectively.
Pitternet down to Kennedy, hand pass to Cripps, high bomb to centre half forward, underneath it, Fraser takes the intercept mark.
Like this game, I think good Fraser.
And the other part too is Wiedering took 4 intercept marks in the first quarter, so Ugle-Hagan was clearly outmatched from a physical strength point of view.
Fraser, the youngest man on the ground, kicks out towards English. He marks, gives it to the Bont, sweeping hand pass forward, missed his target, collected by the Blues. In fact, the umpire calls for a ball up as Ollie Hollands tried to, in fact it was Cowan, tried to hand that out. City wing. Fortnight ago, Carlton were a game and a half clear in the top 2. If this game continues to trend the way it's going, they'll only be 1 game clear inside the top 8. That's how tight the competition is. I'm not sure we've sorted anything out today. I think it's got even flatter with Hawthorn winning.
Yep.
The Dogs potentially winning here. They're 23 up, the Dogs, a game high. 7.5 minutes into the final term. Zero clarity whatsoever. Saturday footy in round 18. Carlton work it forward. Curnow the target. Touched by Karmas on the way through. Got to Curnow. Hand pass to Walsh. Handball to Chincotta. Kicks inside the forward pocket. Tracking back is Lobb. He wants the safety. The boundary line finds it. Says boundary throw. She gave him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't want to keep that alive, Rory Lobb.
That's just deliberate. Like, if your hands go to that and the ball, it should be deliberate.
23 points the Dogs lead. Work to do for the Blues, and Coach Michael Voss standing on the interchange, watching on. Dogs by 23 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Umpire brings it in. Cripps doing the ruck work opposed to English. Brings it down. Curnow jams it on the boot, squeezes it through. He can do it all, Charlie Curnow. And he might ignite the Blues with his third. Back to 17 points. 13-15, 93. Plays 11-10, 76. 9 minutes into the fourth. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
They kicked 3 goals for.
It's a ridiculous goal, that one.
But that's, again, that's just...
It's him playing like a ruck rover, isn't it?
So just a little push off. Hits this contest at speed. Now, Karmas simply not good enough to go with him on that occasion. And then a goal.
Just let him goal side a bit too easily, didn't he? Yeah. Just lost body contact. But that's what he can do.
Yep.
That's playing like a midfielder, isn't it? We saw Bontempelli do that at the other end. Big goal, that one.
Oh, yeah. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanaskas, Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Jess Webster on the boundary. As Taccone, silver service down to the 200 gamer Cripps. He can put Carlton inside 50 again. Curnow down there, hands to it, no mark. Spills to Fraser for the Dogs. Handball to Bramble. Got space free, puts it out on the full. Good pressure from the Blues. And such is their scoring might. How do you ever count them out of it, Carlton? From 23 down, a game-high deficit. They're within 17 and they're coming again inside 50. Elijah Hollands, the centering kick to Cripps. Leaping up and marking on the back of Liberatore. And Paddy Cripps, can he kick a captain's goal here for the Blues?
Sensing the moment. Isn't he the champ?
Centre clearance.
Yep. Just drifted forward. Too much space, though. He was free, really, wasn't he? 30 metres out directly in front of goal and a big pocket of space. And smart kick from Hollands just to give it enough air. And he had to sit on Liberatore's smaller player. This will bring the house down, this one.
He's kicked one already. But this would be the ultimate captain's goal from Captain Cripper. The drop punt. He's good. And the building is jumping. He's the motor that makes this team go, Patrick Cripps. And he motors Carlton within 2 straight kicks. The Bulldogs by 11 points. As many minutes played in the final term. It is Carlton 12-10-82. The Bulldogs 13-15-93. Dogs by 11 points. We got a game again. Adam Ramanaskas, Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
It's always a decision, Bally, where you want your numbers. On that occasion, the Bulldogs pushed their numbers back closer to the goal square, and that left that hole that you were speaking about. Hollands was good enough to put the ball in the right space.
Yeah, I'm looking for Bont now. I'm looking for Marcus Bontempelli to say, OK.
Ed Richards.
Yeah, my opposite numbers stepped up. What can I do? Momentum going the other way. What can the Bont do?
Bounce in the middle, favours Taccone. Bontempelli does get involved. Shovels forward a handball for Vandermeer. Paddling inside 50. Kemp beelines the footy. Vandermeer goes again. Umpire wants it. All up, 45 out.
That was lovely from Bontempelli. A little bit of sort of punch for punch here with Bontempelli and Cripps.
45 out from the attacking goal. Here's Cripps landing his own punch. Clear and kick straight to Bontempelli.
He sets the moment.
He marks in the middle of the ground. Ugle-Hagan offering inside 50. Goes long on his left. Massive contest. Darcy hands to it, doesn't mark. Comes down for Marchbank and the Blues. Gives it off to Kemp to Akers. Kick smothered. Out of bounds for a throw-in. Left forward pocket for the Dogs. They lead it by 11. Did lead it by 23. 12 minutes played in the fourth.
Riley off the SMS, listening while camping in Strathbogie. Loving the call. Ramo, you're a legend. Nice little bit of feedback. Cass and Jocelyn driving back to Melbourne's west after a weekend in Warren Bay. Boundary throw in. Jamara Ugle-Hagan sharks it. And Ugle-Hagan's got 4. The next-gen star putting his talents on show. And the Dogs are back out by 17. Ugle-Hagan with a stoppage goal for the Bulldogs. A 4th for him. And the Dogs move to 14-15-99. Carlton back on their heels, 12-10-82. Adam Ramanaskas, Luke Ball, ABC Sport.
Oh, Bully, they pass your magical 96.5. So it's going to take some beating now. But again, that's the athleticism.
Yeah.
You see, the athleticism at one end of Curnow, and then the athleticism at the other end of Ugle-Hagan takes Wiedering to a stoppage. Who's not used to that, and that type of footwork that's needed around contests, and he's able to lose him.
You see a bloke who relishes being the number one guy, I reckon. You just wonder where this mindset is when Norton comes back into the team. He's just been brilliant after quarter time, and particularly Ugle-Hagan, been at everything.
The Koning palming it down, back in the middle. No one able to emerge with it cleanly. We'll try again. Bulldogs by 17. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Here's Cripps out of the middle, bursting away with it. Off to Chincotta, loops it to Cottrell. Can he get it on? Dogs come and apply the pressure. Goes back to Cripps, tries to shrug off, gets it off to Chera. He chips it short, and always bobs up.
Hang on, free kick.
Well, it's coming back to Cripps.
Why is it coming back?
Surely the advantage. So the mark set 47 metres out. He is not a long kick. Paddy Cripps. Mick Malthouse told a story on Corbin and Ben during the week about how they used to kick around the square when he first got to the club to improve his kicking distance.
Said he could only kick 38, 40 metres. By the end of that year, he'd got it out beyond 50. We'll need to bring out one of those kicks here.
I've got no idea why that hasn't been paid advantage. Anyway, I mean, what a glass quarter he's playing.
Paddy Cripps trots in, boot to ball from 50. His kick is just tugging left and missing. Slaps his hands in frustration. 16 points, the Dogs lead. Quarter hour mark, final term. Good finish, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
99 plays 83. Dogs in control for now. Kick out towards the wing. Pull to the target and spills off his body now to play. So Carlton forced the neutral ball. Boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the Blues.
What do the Dogs do here? I mean, you can just tell that Cripps is in a zone, isn't he, Rammer? You've got to get an arm across him. Is it Bontempelli? I think the captain has to take responsibility.
Yeah, he's the only one that can.
Yeah, maybe Richards.
That's physically big enough.
No late change in the night games, either the MCG, Melbourne and Essendon, or in Adelaide for the Crows and the Saints. With the boundary throwing, De Koning out of the right, grabs it, gives it down to Cripps, took on the tackle, got a handball away, upset too late, holding the ball. Darcy, the tackler, rewarded, got a bit of help from McRae in that tackle. And the Carlton captain has to give it up. Darcy's kick wide, De Koning wins it back, leaps over the top of McRae and takes the intercept mark for Carlton. Bulldogs by 16 points. De Koning, high bomb down to half forward. Cripps is there again, and Darcy floats through to take the mark.
Yeah, he's just got to get the ball in the good user's hands here, Sam Darcy. In fact, the Bulldogs in general, just got to get the ball in the hands of the good decision makers.
Feel like the Blues have lifted. Darcy kicks up towards the wing, overshoots the pack, tumbles out, throwing on the wing.
There's a free kick.
A free kick.
Illegal Shepherd going Carlton's way.
Lead it by 16. To the Bulldogs. Wiedering comes infield with his kick. Gets it to Cowan. He'll kick towards the attacking arc. Up goes Mackay, hands to it, doesn't mark. Darcy Roves. Handball away to Fraser, tackled quickly. Ball up, Jess Webster downstairs.
Still no movement on the Dogs bench in terms of their subs, so Riley Garcia has been patiently waiting for his time to get out on the ground. Only about 10 or 15 minutes left in this game and no movement on the bench, so Dogs not wanting to use their sub just yet.
Darcy, the only ruckman, so just grabs it out of the ruck, kicks boundary side, ball tumbles out of play. Umpires say, boundary throwing.
Touched off the boot.
Yep. Boundary throwing, City wing. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Earlier, the Hawks by 13 over the Dockers. Sydney wide over the Kangaroos by 79. And huge ramifications this on the table and in the context of the season. Bulldogs by 16, 17 gone, final term. De Koning knocks it down. Bontempelli's there for the Dogs. Follows up his own footy. Hand passes second time to McRae, to Poulter running the boundary line. Kicks inside 50. Jamara crashes the pack again, no mark. Ball hits the deck. Boyd tries to hold it in. Pack forms around him. Umpire says ball up. 20 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal at the Coventry end. Dogs by 16 points. They get a forward 50 stoppage halfway through the final quarter.
Wouldn't want to concede another one, the Blues. Darcy taking it out of the ruck, spills down for Akers, clearing the danger. High ball towards the half-back flank and scored away by Bailey Dale, reaching up over the top of his opponent to punch it out, thrown on the wing. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, round 18 from Docklands. Earlier today, the Hawks over the Dockers and Sydney over North. De Koning palming it down. Ollie Hollands picks it up. Poulter tackles him. Nowhere to go. Another ball up. High half forward here for the Dogs.
What a performance has been for the Bulldogs. Lost Treloar in the warm-up. As Garcia extremely late in, as Jess mentioned, still unused. No kick away from Chera, tackled as soon as he got it. We'll have a ball up again. Still between wing and half forward for the Bulldogs. Dogs by 16 points, 18 and a half gone final term. Cripps enormous in the last. Gets the clearance here. Handball to Jim Cotter. Feeds the chain onto Ollie Hollands. 70 out for the Blues. Inside 50. Curnow. Juggled mark. He's got it. The premier goal kicker in the game, Charlie Curnow, with a look from right half forward.
Oh, this is a ridiculous display from Patrick Cripps.
7 possessions, 4 clearances.
Say it, don't we? We throw away line, but he's genuinely put his team on his back here and said, come on, boys, it's my big day. Not going down without a fight.
5 of his 7 contested, 1 goal, 1. The final term for Cripps. Charlie Curnow. We love to say it, it's why they pay him the big bucks. The key forward to kick the goal when they need it. He misses. To the near side of behind. And what's been a mixed day for him. He's got 3, but he's probably still lost the battle. It's the Dogs by 15 points on the scoreboard as we're about to tick into time on final term. And Carlton leave a set shot out there. 14-15 to 12-12. Saturday footy, ABC Sport. Dogs by 15.
Duray in the back pocket. High ball towards the dockside wing. No one's able to mark. Spills down in front. Walsh tackled quickly. Ball up just forward of the logo. On the wing for the Blues. Umpire puts it up. Pitnet backhand down. Gallagher can't gather. Shearer can. His handball towards Cripps, who's trying so gallantly. Coming through though is Liberatore. Cripps shoving them away, trying to wrench the ball free. Even he can't do that. So another ball up on the wing. Doggies by 15, 20 minutes into the fourth.
Up it goes, broadcast side, Pitternet hooks it down behind, Cripps puts his head over it, bowled over, Liberatore just wrestles it free, hand pass goes out of bounds and we'll have a throw in again.
I mean, they have to be thinking about getting Garcia into the game, don't they? I'm just looking down at the bench now. You might as well use the fresh legs. It's been a pretty taxing sort of game, physical contest. I don't know, is it Sanders, is it the young man that can come off and make way for Garcia, who we know can create something? Speed.
Boundary throwing, Pitternet wins it down. Chera bowled over. Says keep going. No, he doesn't. He says held without it. And Walsh just puts his hands out to say, look, pump the brakes. We're going to take the free. Adam Chera with Jackson's number 5 on his back. Kicks the Navy Blues down to half forward. English in the hole. Spills down off hands. Whacked away by Duray, but only to Walsh. His kick touched on the way through. Great work, Dale. Ball spills to Chincotta, though. Kicks inside 50. Fogarty spills the mark. And the Dogs rebound through Bramble.
Away they go out to McNeil. Has Vandermeer breaking. He'll trot back off the mark. Doesn't want to rush it. Pokes it really short to Poulter. Doggies still by 15.
Yeah, it's smart. They're in a position now, the Dogs, where they can really make the Blues defend. Play a bit of kick and catch, although he's going to go down the line here.
Around the boundary line he goes. Ugle-Hagan coming up. Mark taken by Kemp. Blues back in possession. Half-back flank. Bites off the kick for Cripps in the middle. Opposed to English. Up he goes. Halves the contest. Chincotta Rose. Gives it to Fogarty. Kicks towards Akers. Half forward for the Blues. Looks inside 50. He'll wheel and kick long. Curnow's down there. In best position. Drops it. Recovers. Touched on the way through.
Hit the post.
Or maybe into the post. Doc Duray was pressuring him. And a goal-saving effort. Doggies by 14. 22 played in the fourth.
How did he not mark it?
He hit the
post.
Didn't mark it and then missed from a metre out and jammed it into the post.
I reckon that's 3 goals 6 now.
Jeez, Charlie Curnow. He's had his moments in this final term as well to try and impact the game significantly. You're right, Rama. 3 goals 6. Dogs work it all the way up to the wing. Picked up by West here. Dogs on the counter-attack. And this would make it really hard for the Blues. Got it to Vandermeer to Sanders. Hand pass to Gallagher. Inside 50. Great effort from Newman. The goal saver. Traps the footy. Got it out to Fogarty. Hand pass to Ollie Hollins. Counter-attack now for the Baggers. Kicks down towards Cripps, who's impacted the game significantly in the last. Long inside 50. Karmas a hand on it. Affected. Lobs intercept mark. Cleans it up for the Bulldogs up the back flank. Hand pass to Dale. Dale kicks out of defence along the boundary line. Too wide. Out on the fall and Carlton will get a chance to reload. 70 from home. Dogs by just 14. Time on final term.
Ollie Hollins with the high kick looking from the car. Lob. Great defensive mark. Left back pocket reinvented. Reborn as a defender. Rory Lobb.
Out their feet, the Dogs. They've got to get the fresh man out there, don't they? I mean, the Bontempelli and Richards are stuck on the bench at the moment too.
He has not moved. Garcia on the bench.
Lob whacks it long and off hands out of play, thrown to come on the wing.
And the Bulldogs have had problems with this in previous weeks where Bontempelli's been off the ground a long time in last quarters because the ball's over the other side of the ground. Just rip someone off the ground and get Bontempelli back out there now. And Richards.
Dogs by 14 points, 24 gone, final term, leading the Blues. And the boundary throw-in comes to Walsh. He's held up. Blues will be potentially giving up second spot on the table if they can't reel this back in. The Dogs on the live ladder are 8th as it sits at the moment. We got it. Still a little bit of time to decide it in his final turn. From the stoppage, Gallagher just paddles it in front. Links up with McRae against the boundary line. Kicks to half forward. Waitman and Boyd. Boyd whacks it away for the Blues. Half back for Carlton. Kemp by hand to Chera. Handball to Ollie Hollands. He's mowed down. Great chase down tackle. He's caught by McNeil. McNeil wins it for the Bulldogs at centre half forward.
Lockie McNeil, what's he had? He's only had one possession for the quarter, but
those are the ones that count.
Nothing more important than that bit of play. They're just an inside 50 mark away here, aren't they, the Dogs, from icing this?
Something about a chase down tackle. He kicks in the direction of Ugle-Hagan as you would, as Wiedering knocks it to the boundary line. Stays alive though for the Dogs. Waitman's tackled out of play. Walsh got him. And a boundary throw in 40 metres out from the Dogs' goal. There's 5 minutes to play. The Bulldogs by 14 points. Carlton in chase mode big time. 25 gone, final turn. Dogs by 14.
Umpire brings it back in. English and Pittonet. Pittonet palming it down onto it though. Waitman gives it to English off to Liberatore. Snaps on his right towards full forward. McNeil getting back there. Juggles the mark. Paid the mark. Boyd might have had a fist in there. Or Newman it was. Right there with him, but the mark is paid.
Well, he does the big play, doesn't he? The rundown tackle. And it's funny, isn't it, in this game of footy, Rammer? Sometimes when you put in an effort like that,
bit of luck,
get rewarded. A bit of luck goes your way. I'm not sure if it was fully there, the mark, but gets a chance to ice the game here for the Dogs.
To ice it. McNeil comes in, rams it into the post. And that's a bad miss. 15 out, slide angle. Rattles the woodwork. And Carlton live. 26 minutes into the fourth, the Dogs by 15.
Had a chance to slam the door shut. Instead, it's still ajar. The Blues have got to make it all happen. Boyd long to the wing. Hand on it from Curnow. No mark. Spills down to English. Hand pass to Poulter. Short kick to McRae. He says, pump the brakes, boys. We got the footy. We got a 15-point lead, and it's 26 and a half gone, final turn.
Smart play. Experienced player there, Jack McRae. They can run a minute off the clock here and really put it out of the Blues' reach.
Goes back to Caulfield, the former Saint. Long kick down to half forward. Cripps stands in front of English. Takes the intercept mark. And again today, he's been big when they needed him to be in this final term. This will be his 9th touch of the last quarter. 7 of them contested. Kicks down the wing. Spills through towards Caulfield. Caulfield, though, for the Bulldogs. Hand pass out wide for McRae. McRae's short kick. Gets it to Poulter. And they're in the slow play again, the Dogs. A 15-point lead. 3.5 minutes on the clock.
Happy to chip it around. Poulter going backwards. Away to Caulfield. 15 points their advantage. Caulfield, long kick up the wing. Up goes the pack, out the back. McRae gets a handball away. Poulter's tackled quickly. And we'll get a ball up between wing and half forward. Doggies lead by 15 points. 27 minutes into the fourth. I'm not sure Patrick Cripps could have done much more.
There's no doubt about that. He has his jumper tugged here. He's going to get another. This will be his 10th touch in the final term for Patrick Cripps. Over 200 metres gained in the quarter alone. Hand pass out towards Sard. Sard's off and running. He's on his right side though. Kicks a high bomb against the boundary line. Underneath it, Curnow can't take the mark. Karmas knocks it out of bounds. And a throw in high half forward for the Blues. Doggies 14-16-100. Carlton 12-13-85. 28 minutes gone, final turn. No late change in the 2 evening fixtures. So Adelaide and St Kilda. Our audience in SA, you're off there shortly. No late change with Phil Thorpe and Patton, the subs for the Crows and the Saints. And then at the MCG, it'll be Essendon and Melbourne. There's no late change there. Hind and Woden, the 2 subs for the respective teams. From the restart, was whacked forward by English. Loose footy on the wing, picked up by Sard for the Bulldogs. For the Blues, rather. Kicks inside 50, and here's Curnow. Takes the mark. 3 goals, 6 today. This could be his 10th scoring shot. From 55 metres out, the foot cannon goalward, he misses. 3 goals, 7 is the day for Charlie Curnow. The Bulldogs by 14 points, 29 gone in the final term. And the Dogs have got 2 minutes to try and get out of here with the 4 points.
Dale short to Karmas. Who just pokes it to Duray. Been in big games, the dual premiership Hawk. Saturday footy on ABC Sport delivering. Duray with the long ball up to the wing. Looking for a marker there coming across Wiedering. Kills it out of play. Throw in to come. The Doggies the happier of the two with that. They lead by 14 points and they're holding on. They got white knuckles at the moment. They're holding on so tight. 30 minutes played in the fourth.
Huge day for Carlton. Patrick Cripps joining the 200 club. And yet so far it is not pounding out the way that they would have hoped, becoming the 39th player in the game's history to reach the milestone. That's at Carlton, the 39th Carlton footballer to 200. A club which came into the competition in the launch of it way back in 1897. As Jamare's done everything up front, tries to take a hanger on the wing. Unsuccessful. Carlton win it back. Sard to Wiedering. Spears a kick to Cottrell. And he takes the mark outer edge of the centre square. 14 points the Bulldogs lead. Cottrell inboard and turns it over. Then McNeil takes the intercept mark in the middle of Docklands. The Doggies by 14 points.
Happy to just kick it laterally to Caulfield. And they can chip it around here, take some time off the clock. Caulfield short for Duray. And the Blues aren't going to win for Cripps in his 200th. Duray short to Bramble. Two former Hawks, turn Dogs combining. Bramble looks longer to half forward. Wants a mark. He can only find De Koning. Blues back in possession. De Koning runs away with it quickly. He'll kick around the wing in the direction there of Newman coming across. Bailey Williams intercept mark. And the Dogs back with it. They lead by 14 points over the Blues late in this one.
Trying to peel the last of the seconds off the clock. The Dogs by 14 points. Short kicking game. Caulfield to Lobb. Kicks along the boundary line to Dale. Can't complete the juggled mark. Spins out of a tackle from Elijah Hollins. Gives it to Bramble. High up and under. Floats boundary side. Jamara comes from over the back and whacks it out of bounds. He's had a good day, Ugle-Hagan.
Been impressive. It's been a good battle with him and Wiedering, but I've just been really impressed with his work rate. He's got reward in the end, Ugle-Hagan.
From the throw-in, English tapping it down. McRae gives it off to McNeil. Cruising by, chips inside, attacking 50. Wiedering's there, takes the mark. He'll kick into the middle of the ground for Fogarty. Gives it off to Cripps. And the wounded Dogs are back in the 8, at least for now. The blue spot in the finals placings tenuous. Dogs by 14.
Red, white, and blue. We come out strong. Bulldogs through and through. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. But you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West.
14-16-100, they defeat Carlton. 12-14-86, 14 points as I said. The goal kickers, 4 goals to Ugle-Hagan, 4 goals to West, and then it was all singles. Waitman, Bontempelli, Darcy, Holter, Dale and Williams, while for the Blues, 3 to Mackay, 3 to Curnow, 2 to Cripps, 1 to Elijah Hollins, 1 to Chincotta and a couple to Matt Owies. Patrick Cripps in game 200 finishes up with 28 disposals. He was enormous in the fourth, but couldn't get the Blues over the line.
Red, white and blue. We come out snarling. Bulldogs through and through. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. The team of the mighty West.
The undermanned underdogs, they give their very best today. They take down the Blues. And what a result it is in the context of the competition. So not only did Carlton fail to shore up their September position. They breathe life into the chances of another aspirant. Saturday of round 18. I'm not sure we're sorting anything out in Ramanaskas. We're picking up more contenders than we're eliminating. The Hawks winners down in Tasmania. And now here, of course, we see the Bulldogs prevail over the Blues. They are right back in the season in the hunt for September. Coming up, it'll be Melbourne and Essendon for much of the network. But for our audience throughout South Australia, the Crows and the Saints coming up. And for everybody else, we carry on as we'll give you the goal kickers here at full time. 4 for Ugle-Hagan, 4 for West. Singles for Waitman, Bontempelli, Darcy, Poulter, Dale and Bailey Williams. While for Carlton, 3 for Mackay, 3 for Curnow, 2 each for Cripps and for Owies. And then 1 for Elijah Hollins and Chincotta. That doesn't really tell half the story. The Dogs made a late change. Trelaw did his calf in the warm-up, so Gallagher ended up starting. And Riley Garcia never got on the park, so they didn't use their sub at all. Garcia as the late inclusion. While for Carlton, I mentioned the 3 goals for Curnow. What that doesn't tell you is he also kicked 7 behinds. He had 10 scoring shots, the Coleman medal champ. And for Charlie Curnow, unfortunately, 3 goals, 7. And it's turned into a what might have been afternoon. What a season we're living through out in Ramanaskas. The Bulldogs are right back in play.
Oh, we are. What a season that we're living in. It's fantastic to see so many teams still in contention. You go all the way down, I think, to Gold Coast in 13th position. That can obviously still playing finals. So there's so many different combinations that can happen come September that it's just going to make the last six weeks of this season so exciting. But look, credit to the Bulldogs, 7 behinds in that first quarter, and that could have sapped their confidence quite easily. It's like, you know what, boys, it's just not going to be our day today. It's not going to be our day. But then they come out in that second quarter, and it's 7 goals to 4 they kick in that second quarter. So they had 15 inside 50s for 9 scoring shots. He kicked 7 goals, 2 in that quarter. I thought Bailey Dale was outstanding, particularly in the first half. He had 21 possessions, over 400 metres gained, and he kicked the goal. But it was just how he was using the football, taking it forward. And I thought he was a big reason why, they were able to go into that halftime break with a lead. It's one of the better games I've seen Ugle-Hagan play. I thought Tim English did a good job in the ruck against both Taconey and Pitney. I thought Sam Darcy was really good. Frieger, I thought, had a couple of nice moments. Lockie McNeil had a really, really important moment in that last quarter with a huge tackle. Rory Lobb, I thought, who was beaten well in the first half by Harry Mackay, he came back in that second half and was able to really. Well, I don't think Harry kicked the goal in the second half. He kicked 3 in the first half, and he didn't kick the goal in the second half, so he came back well. We spoke about Charlie Curnow having the 10 scoring shots, but I actually thought Karmas did a pretty good job on him. All things considered, you'll turn around and say, well, he could have kicked 7 or 8. Yeah, he could have, but, there was the amount of times that the ball went to Charlie, and he was either able to make it a 50-50 or win it or spoil it. It was a terrific contest. So, the Blues will be ruining that one, I think. They had all the momentum in that first quarter and got out to a 15-point lead at quarter time. But then it's that second quarter, 7 goals to 4 in that second quarter, and then the Dogs were able to hold them at bay throughout that second half. The Dogs kicked the first 2 goals of that last quarter, got out to 23 points. Then it was always going to be difficult from then on, and the Dogs were smart in that last quarter. What they did, their kicking efficiency was low all day, but then in the last quarter, their kicking efficiency was 75%. And they were able just to suck seconds off the clock at critical moments. When the game was going quick and it looked like Carlton had some momentum, they were able to win a free kick or take a mark and just slow the game down again. So the season just gets more and more interesting, Corbs.
But particularly with the games we saw today.
Yeah.
So we had the real opportunity today to see some separation.
Yep.
If Fremantle had a 1 and Carlton had a 1, all of a sudden you look at teams like Hawthorn and the Dogs and you'd be saying, gee, they're 2 games out with 6 to play.
Yeah.
It doesn't look possible anymore. Instead, all of a sudden the Dogs are in the 8 at the moment out by percentage, which is superior over the Giants. Melbourne still to play. Collingwood who fall down to 11th and Hawthorn. So even though the Hawks won, they're now 12th. They're technically equal on wins with 8 spot. And then up the top, it's fascinating too. So Sydney have got their 3-game break again over the rest of the competition for now. They're on 56 points. Carlton on 44. Geelong on 44. Fremantle will stay 42. And then Essendon are the watch on 42 points. They played tonight.
You're making me nervous now.
I know. I'm just going to whisper it because I don't want to jinx anything. If the Bombers win, they'll be second on the ladder. So there is huge stakes tonight for the Bombers. If they win, they'll be second, which is incredible. But to think where the Blues were a fortnight ago, they were 6 points clear in second spot, and we were saying, gee, what's the gap between them and the Swans, and talking about them for positioning in 2 home finals. If they get leapfrog tonight, they're right back in the mix for positioning with every other team.
Well, like I said, we've got 13 teams that are just sitting there. That goes all the way down to the Gold Coast. So it's what the AFL wanted. It's why the draft system works, and why the salary cap works. That's what those two mechanisms are for, to make an even competition. They don't want the bottom teams not winning games. They want the bottom teams winning, 6 or 7 games a year if they can. I know we've got both West Coast and North Melbourne who will struggle to do that, but the other teams, it's a tough draw at the moment. You've got to be on your tucker every week. The moment you're off it slightly, you get found out really, really quickly. So we've got the reigning premier sitting outside the 8 at the moment, where a couple of weeks ago we're talking about, they're going to make top 4 again. They're just going to roll through, and off they go. So fascinating season, fascinating final 6 weeks. The Dogs just walking in now to wild applause from their supporters there. Big win in the context of their season. Would take them forward. And you mentioned those guys. They've still got to potentially come back in.
So Norton and O'Donnell still to come back in. Liam Jones to return. And then even guys like Johannesson and Harms and these depth players and Gardner. Bailey Smith obviously won't be back. Treloar laid out with a calf. So that there's still a lot to come back for the Dogs. They breathe life into their season today. They've got Geelong in Geelong next Saturday night, and then Sydney at the SCG. So underlines how important today's win was for the Bulldogs. Let's get into the winners' rooms. The Doggies by 14 points. Jess Webster's down there. What's it like, Jess?
Thanks, Corby. Yeah, the players have walked into the rooms to rousing applause from their family and friends that are all packed in here at the moment. You can see the looks on their faces and how much this win means to them. And they're just gathering now to get ready to sing this song. And you think they're going to be pretty satisfied to sing this.
Stars of the West, woo! Red, white and blue, woo! We'll come out snarling. Bulldogs through and through, we sing. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs go. We give our very best. We shall be the boys of the Bulldog Creek with the team in the mighty West. Woo!
A massive win in the context of the season, Corb. We're hoping to get some reactions very shortly.
Thanks, Jess. We'll come back to you in a few moments. We've got about 5 minutes before we're off to the MCG for Melbourne and Essendon. No late change there. We might just clear the votes so we can get some reaction from the Dogs' rooms. What do you got for us, Rama?
I gave 1 to Jamara Ugle-Hagan. He had 20 possessions, 10 of those contested, took 6 marks. He's had 13 score involvements for 4 goals, 3 behinds. I just loved his work. It was a great battle between Wiedering. Wiedering took 8 intercept marks himself. I gave 2 to Paddy Cripps, who I thought was just outstanding all day. 28 possessions, 11 clearances, 15 contested and 2 goals won. But I gave 3 to Bailey Dale. I thought when the Dogs really needed somebody in that second quarter, he was the one that ignited them. So he's my 3 vote for 31 possessions, 6 score involvements and 636 metres gained.
Love it. 3 for Bailey Dale, 2 for Paddy Cripps, 1 for Jamara Ugle-Hagan. Back to the winners' rooms. The Dogs by 16 points. Jess Webster.
Thanks, Corby. Here with Jack McRae. Jack, it was high stakes today, backs against the wall. You were undermanned and coming up against one of the premiership contenders, and you got the job done. You must be really pleased to get the 4 points today.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we were pretty disappointed with how we played against Port Adelaide. So, went back to a lot of what our strengths are and stripped it back to how we want to play as a team and the brand we want to dish up. And from the first bounce, you saw that.
And coming into the game, we knew it was a really important one for you to win, but then you started and you kicked 0-7, and it was sort of really hard fought to get over the line in the end. But you must be really proud of the mental strength of this group to not only come in with a few out, but after that slow start to really turn it around.
Yeah, obviously you want to start well, around the contest, but it was a bit disappointing not to get the reward. But, obviously a pretty young forward line, Darcy and Jamara and Cody, those boys really stuck fat, when it's not going their way. And, it's good growth in that area.
I'll send you straight upstairs to our experts. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanaskis.
Jack, what was the message at quarter time? Because you guys had a lot of football but just couldn't capitalise on results.
probably just a bit more composure around the arc and using our numbers at times. I think Wiedering had a really great first quarter, and that probably brought a lot of their runners down back into the game as well. So as soon as we probably started using the ball better and re-engaging their backs, you probably saw we got a lot of goals, probably scrappy goals, but that's probably, how you have to get them sometimes.
It looked from up here that you wanted Carlton to possess the ball in their back half. You're happy for them to do that, almost to protect your own back half, if you sort of understand what I mean by that. They had a lot of ball in the back half of the ground. Akers, Sard, Newman, Wiedering. A lot of that was just chip kicks around. Was that a tactic that you wanted to use today?
Yeah, obviously, you want the ball in your hands as much as possible. But I think coming out of the Port Adelaide game, we really let ourselves down with how we defended the middle of the game and of the ground, and that's probably a big focus. Was if they're going to use the ball, make them go wide and chip mark around and force them down the line kicks and then win the territory battle that way.
Jack, I know you're trying to go heads up with him in a midfield battle, but Patrick Cripps, and I know you've sort of got one of your own in Marcus Bontempelli in your midfield, but Cripps was enormous in game 200, particularly in the fourth quarter. When you're out there running around, do you get a chance to look at him and go, gee whiz, this guy's big for one and taking over in this fourth quarter?
Yeah, he's an absolute colossus and, been a great player and great career so far. So it's great to see him rewarded with 200 and, he's pretty good player. Him and Bon and a few of those other guys that really stand out in the competition. You feel a bit like a fan at times sitting back and watching him, but you have a lot of respect for those players.
Jack, it's Corbin Middlemass. How unsettling was Treloar's laid out, and what did it mean for the group, obviously, with him coming out in the warm-up?
Yeah, it was a weird one. I didn't even really see anything happen, and then, we just saw Riley Garcia getting his shoulders strapped, and, the boys, responded pretty well to. It was very late change, so we probably missed him at times, around the engine room early. But full credit to a few of the boys that stepped up in there.
And you happy with your Celtics winning?
Yeah, it was a great, bit nerve-wracking. One day, hopefully, can get over there and watch the finals if they're still good enough finish footy. But it was. Loving me Celtics.
Good on you, Jack. Celebrate the win today. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, boys.
Jack McRae with Jess Webster downstairs. So how about that, Rama? I don't know what we've learned in the context of the season. All we know is that there are 13 teams still in it.
Still in it, and we're happy about that.
Saturday night footy in front of us, so it's Adelaide and St Kilda in South Australia. Updates throughout, but coming up next, for the majority of the network, you're off to the MCG. It is Melbourne and Essendon. The Bombers with the lure of winning and going second on the premiership table. The D's trying to get it done without Petrarca and Gawn. The Dogs winners under the roof at Docklands to spoil Cripper's 200th. The Doggies by 16.